Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, the season finale for the Core GT series. Going to be finishing up here in Brazil at Interlagos, and this is just a very famous, very fun track for these drivers out here. Certainly going to be a little bit more stressful for some of them that are going to be going here for the championship. But it's got a little bit of everything. It's got a lot of high speed. It's got a lot of high speed corners, but it's got some trickiness on the infield. Got some undulations. Get just a little bit of everything out there. Carl Hamwork joined in the booth by Mark Thomas. Mark, Interlagos, are you ready for the finale?
Oh, I am ready for the finale, Carl. I quite like this track. It's one of those that I mean, it's an F1 fave. Yeah, I enjoy it here. It's a tricky little track. A couple of places where it's very easy to get off track, and they can pile up quite quickly here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. I'm a little disappointed that the GTE Championship is kind of sewn up, but GT3 and the GR86 I'm rubbing my hands together, Carl. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be more. It's gonna be phenomenal here to finish this thing off. We'll bring in our contenders here in a little bit, but typically I ask you where the passing zones are on the track. I gotta change it up here. Is there any place that you can't pass in Interlagos? I mean, this whole track just seems like it's just one passing opportunity after another. Obviously, some a little bit more opportunistic than others, but I mean, this whole track is just it sets you up for some long straightaways, some easy dive bombs into the corners, some places where guys are swinging out wide to kind of hit the correct apex of the corner, and it opens up the inside. I mean, it's a bevy of passing opportunities.
Yeah, and there's a couple of big stops. I mean, coming off to the straight into turn one, it's always a favourite, and then as you come through the sequence and onto the second straight, there's always a chance of making a dive up the inside, aka Max Verstappen style. Just chucking it up the inside, not caring who's on your outside. So I'll
let you just just go ahead, go with that. Even though I watched that replay the other day, I still blame it on Lewis, but but I digress. I mean, the biggest thing we are here is to see who is going to be crowned. Obviously, as you mentioned, Mike McCoy already wrapping up the points for the GTE class, but the GT3 and the GR86 far from over, as we've got a three-man battle for the GT3 class, and that's going to be between Craig Potter, Tyler Kokeko, and Dane Simpson. Any of those drivers have a legitimate shot here tonight with double points on the line. And then in the GR86, it's pretty much a two-horse race. I don't think there's any way Tim Ponzi can get back in the mix here, but it's only 5 points separating Mark Parkhurst from Pau Casca, and if Casca can get the pole here, basically it's 0 points. It's level playing field to start the race, and that's a great way to kind of set things up. And it looks like we've got yep. I just want to make sure. It looks like we got Pau Casca and Mark Parkhurst are finished with their qualifying, so we'll go ahead and bring in our GR86 contenders right now. And got to tell you guys, this is a fantastic finish to what's been an epic battle between you guys all season, neck and neck, all the way through the season. And should I be shocked that you guys are literally even going into the start of this race now that Casca has the pole?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've been pretty close all season, but I don't think qualifying's over yet. I'll give Ponty one more lap here.
There you go. So already some trash talking. I like it. So without giving too many secrets away, we'll get to you guys here real quick. So Pal, what's going to be the what's going to be the mindset here for tonight?
Keeping it clean, basically getting no off tracks is the ideal situation, but we'll see how it goes, especially with the GT3s and everything.
All right, and
GT3s and GTEs.
And Mark, what about you?
Yeah, just try to survive, and I gotta start from the back here. So I mean, it's not a really big field, but just try to survive, keep it clean, like Powell said, keep the off tracks to a minimum, and try to give everybody room because everybody's got their own championship battles going on as well.
Absolutely. Well, we will we'll see how it shakes out between you guys. We wish both of you luck, and hopefully we can get you guys both in here after the race, and it ends up being a great race for both of you guys.
Pass after turn 3, which is straight away.
That is going to be your contenders here for the GR86 title, and looks like I have some extra check going on there, so we'll get that off of there. And now we will get in our GT3 guys here in a second, as I will bring in Tyler Kokeko, Dane Simpson, and Craig Potter. So you guys have a 3-headed battle here coming into tonight. Craig obviously coming in here with the points lead of 8 points over Tyler. 18 points back to Dane, but double points on the line. You guys have everything to play here tonight. So I guess we'll start it off here with Craig. Craig, you know, what are you looking forward to tonight? Is there anything that you're worried about in particular, or you're just going to treat it like any other race?
Yeah, I'm worried about a couple of things. The track seems pretty warm and slick as compared to some of the testing we've done throughout the week, so there's that. Also, you know, just everyone seems like they're so tight on pace. Not a big gap between the front guys and the guys in the back. So yeah, just gonna have to take my time getting up through there.
All right, Tyler, we'll switch to you. You're the closest competitor here to Craig heading into the night. Obviously, the qualifying is going to play a big part, and it looks like P3 for you. So going to be starting the race here 5 points behind Craig. So what's the mindset in the 37 garage?
Just don't spin, don't bin it, run a clean race and try to finish well. Gotta watch for Dane behind me. Hopefully Craig will probably end up making his way through the field, so just try to run my race.
All right, and finally, Dane, 18 points behind. I wouldn't say you're in, you know, exactly Hail Mary range yet, but is there a little sense of urgency to try and get through the field and try and have a really great race, and hope your competitors have a little stumble here or two?
Absolutely. I'm going to be trying to get up there as soon as I can, and just try to put as much pressure on these guys as possible. Try to force them to make a mistake and capitalize.
All right, well, we wish the three of you guys luck. Hopefully we'll talk to all three of you guys in the podium spots here at the end of the race, and wishing you guys a good race out there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, those are your competitors tonight for the championship in the GT3 class. And Mark, we are all set. Let's go ahead and take a look at the qualifying results, and we're going to start with the GTE class. And on the pole is going to be Mason Smith with a 130.851, Matthew Goring, Jimmy Covert, Alex Carver, David Tilford round out your top 5. Dominique Ford is going to be the last one. I don't think you're going to be out there on the track, so we'll just ignore you. But looks like maybe it's a good thing that Mr. Mike McCoy did wrap up that championship last week, as he is not in attendance here tonight. So I mean, from what we were told with the drop race and everything like that, he does have it wrapped up, so he is the champion. We'll take a look now at the GT3 class, and it is going to be Andrew Rasmussen on the pole with a 134.689. Kelly Pointer, Tyler Kokeko, Dane Simpson, Beavish Vassam, your top 5. Tim Thompson, AJ Chantry, Craig Potter, and Mark Gonzalez round out the field. Then in the GR86 class, we have 4 cars in the field, and that is going to be Pal Casca on the pole, tying up the points here to start the race. Timothy Ponzi, Terry Jansen, and then your co-points leader right now, Mark Parkhurst in the 23, rounding out the field. These guys are set, they are rolling, and we're getting ready for some GT action here. It's almost a shame that this season is over, but the new season already waiting in the wings, and I'm excited for that. But we've got some champions that we got to crown here tonight, and we'll see if Mason can get a little bit of a redemption on the season. He certainly was up there for a lot of the season battling with McCoy, but unfortunately going to come up a little bit short here this season. But the pace car is on the front stretch. We'll get the track map up, and there you go. And you see this long straightaway there from that turn that they just came out of, through the little kink here, all the way down until that left-hand turn. They are flat out and reaching at max speed coming all the way through there. So certainly some drafting and passing opportunities, as Mark mentioned, going down into 1. But 1, 2, 3, and 4, very tricky section to start this thing out. And we'll see how everything shakes out as Barney, the flagman, is going to be starting this race.
Green, green, green.
And we are racing in Brazil. Good start here for the GTEs. You see the GT3s now coming up through here. As we take a look down, you see how much that thing is banked and coming down into turn 1. And one of the famous corners here, the Santa S, certainly a lot of trouble here. Oh, it looks like we got some trouble already. Dominic Ford way out in turn number 3. As these guys are wasting no time getting around the track. Hard to even keep up with them with the cameras, but now the big run up to turn number 6 here. As this is a section right here that you really need to kind of hit the preferred marks to get the fastest run through here. You got to really swing it out wide to head into turn 8, cut it all the way down to the inside through turn 9 right here, and then the trip up to turn 10. Again, you're kind of almost going to do the exact same thing, swing it out wide into 10 and 11. As you see, these guys doing a fine job to start the race here, heading up into now turn number 12. And then we wait for them for the long straightaway here, as they're going to be flat out coming through here. And looks like for the most part, everybody has made it through lap 1 scot-free, other than Dominic Ford sliding off the track just a little bit.
It was a shame Rasmussen taking GT3 honours at the moment. It doesn't look like he's stretching, so things could get interesting. But good lap there from Mason for a first lap out of 1:37.11.
So taking a look at your point standings here, as trying to get to the cameras here. There we go. And the points, guys, for the GTE, you got Tyler Kokeko in 3rd place, Dan Simpson in 4th, Craig Potter in 7th position right now, and all these guys just kind of, you know, hanging right where they started. Not really any kind of movement in the field at all for the GT3 class. And in the GR86 class, very important that Pau Casca still has that lead over Ponzi, as you know, Timothy Ponzi coming into this season a little bit later than you know, probably he would have hoped for, because he would have been right in the mix of this battle if he was right there from the beginning, because I believe they had the same amount of points all the way through since he's been in here, so he would have been right in the middle of this. But even though he can't factor into the championship, he can factor into the championship. If he comes out of here with a win and you know, splits these guys up, there's certainly a possibility where Timothy Ponzi can essentially decide who this GR86 champion is.
If he just starts taking points away from some of the other drivers, as you say, I mean, it's a double points race tonight, so you know, every single point counts, or every single place counts. So, you know, with Ponzi being out there, if he starts taking points away from, you know, from our 2 leaders right now, then that could have quite the effect on the end result, really.
Now that we have the standings off the screen, you guys can actually see the racing action. You see already Dane Simpson putting the pressure on Tyler Kokeko, and this is a position that Simpson will definitely need. He's going to need this and more for the, even though there's double points on the line, he's got to close in a bunch of points on these guys, 18 points up to Potter, but he's still going to close in 10 points on Kokeko at the same time. But a good start for these guys, as again, they're running 3 and 4. Potter moving up a position. He is up to P6 right now, so I think the plan for the 616 is just to slowly, methodically move your way up through the track. It is double points, but it is also more than double the time that these guys are used to, as this is a 2-hour race here tonight, as opposed to their typical 45-minute races. This is certainly going to test these guys. As Pointer goes off the track and gives up P number 2. And we'll see, he is going to rejoin, but at the back of the pack, he's going to rejoin in 8th position here out of 9. So that's going to move your championship guys up to 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
One other thing, it looks like Dominique Ford had a little off, entered the pit lane. I don't know if he's back out on track. I can't see it.
And we'll take a look and see exactly what happened. And looks like it was, it was involving your GT3 battlers. And yeah, a big tap right there is going to send him sideways. Luckily, he didn't wipe out Dane Simpson in the process, but he did come back, or he did come into the pits, and he did leave the pits. He is back out on the track, but certainly a long ways back, as you see the 91 down there on the bottom of the track map, all the way behind these GT3 cars once again, so he's going to have to work his way back through. Close battling up here in the GTE field, as Matthew Goring holding down 2nd place. Jimmy Covert in 3rd, but Alex Carver looking to try and make his way through. These guys started and are in the same positions that they started in right now. Nobody making moves pretty much all the way through this field, the way it seems.
Oh, Jimmy, could you dive up the inside? Jimmy going for the inside.
He's got the inside for this corner, but yes. Alex Carver joining him, running around the outside. That's a fantastic move there from the 79 as well. So 2 for 1 there, as Goring going to lose 2nd and 3rd position, going to fall back to 4th. Covert up to 2nd, Alex Carver up to 3rd.
I saw Jimmy putting down some decent lap times during the practice. Oh my God, that was a tad wide there, Jimmy.
Using everybody to run off, and this is where it gets interesting here, as this is a fast section right here, and they're coming up on the GR86s. So which way do you go? And Jimmy decides to just stay behind Parkhurst and park it right there, no pun intended, and very close right there with Carver, as he's going to shove out Parkhurst. But now this is where Parkhurst needs to regain, and around the outside goes Carver, and now look at the inside goes Goring, as this is getting feisty here with these GR86s, and that Jimmy says, all right, I've had enough of this, I'm getting by these guys. But I was going to say Mark Parkhurst, as Jimmy goes a little bit wide, a good save right there, doesn't lose too much time, and he doesn't lose position to Goring and possibly Tilford here on the run. But Mark Parkhurst needed to stay with those guys so he can maybe get a run and get a passing opportunity on Casket, but not to be had right there, as Tilford now all over the back of Covert. Looks like he's gonna stay in line, as Covert is the most recent winner here in Core, as he won last night in the Premier Series All-Star race. So congrats once again to the driver of the 12, but he's got a race on his hands right now with Jimmy Covert.
It does indeed, and it looks like Dane and Tyler are at it as well, judging by the looks of the timing screen.
Yeah, Dane Simpson getting around Tyler Kokeko, and we'll try and take a look and see where that happened. And it was into turn number 1. Dane gets the inside, and it sounds all well and good, but you still need to hold it all the way through there, because you have the inside for 1, the outside for 2, and then back to the inside for 3, and he does a great job right there and gets the position done. Looks like Andrew Rasmussen had a little bit of an off here, working his way around the GR86, and yeah, that's taking full advantage of the runoff.
Sometimes I don't think you have much choice. I would rather take the 1X.
Traffic very heavy here. Are these guys in LA or are they down in Brazil? This is ridiculous.
Well, we knew it was going to be interesting. It was just going to be. It's one of those tracks where, if you hit the traffic at the wrong time, then it can really upset your race pace, because this track, I find personally, requires quite a bit of flow. And once you get into the groove, you can sort of knock the laps out. But as soon as you start getting in amongst the traffic, and I mean, we've done enough multi-class racing to know that all it takes is just that one guy to put you slightly offline, and then you're scrambling to recover and get your groove back again, and find that line and get your grip levels back up, and you've got a bit of dirt on the tyres, and they've got a bit hot because you've had to push it too far around the outside. Yeah, it can make a difference. You wouldn't think it, but yeah, running in traffic, really not that simple.
Well, we talked about, the fact that this place has so many passing opportunities, but there's probably one spot where these guys are going to have trouble passing, and you've seen it now on back-to-back laps when you're going through the switchbacks here on the infield. It's very, very tight because you're not sure how these guys are going to take it, because, as Mark said, the flowiness here is going to take you to the outside and then cutting hard to the inside for some of these corners, which is fine when you're by yourself, or fine when you're in with your own class. But when you got the faster class coming up behind you, you kind of need to anticipate each other. You need to talk to each other. You need to do something, because they're not going to know whether you're going to be taking the racing line and kind of flowing out and then back in, or if you're going to stay out there. If you're not going to go out there at all, it's very difficult. And Aviva Shabazam loses right in front of our points leader, Potter. Luckily, he navigates through the issue right there, as now he's got Mark Gonzalez right on his heels. That was very close there.
There's a bit of driving there from Potter. That was it's not so easy to avoid things, because you do have a fair bit of pace and a fair lick when you come out of some of these corners, and it only takes the smallest little miscalculation, and yeah, just a little too much on entry. Oh, see, Abby made the right move there by just keeping, not trying to power out of it or move, just let it do its thing, and Craig just drive right around the outside, beautifully clean.
Potter not done yet, though. He's getting heavy pressure from Mark Gonzalez now. It looks like he is going to give up the outside going in here and just give up the position and fall in behind the 88. And Mark Gonzalez is another driver where, if he was able to make all the races on the season, I feel like he'd be right in the midst of this battle as well, which just goes to show you how wide open this GT3 series was this season. As, I mean, if we had everybody showing up the entire time, we'd have probably a 5-car battle for the championship in the GT3. 3, maybe even 4-car battle if you had Tyler Wong there in the GR86 class. It's been phenomenal all season.
Yeah, it's been some phenomenal racing too. A lot of the GT3 drivers, absolutely superb skill, without a question of a doubt. The GT3 class always very tightly contended, always very close racing. The cars do have some disparity, but it's not as extensive as it is with some of the other classes. The Merc and the BMW, very traditionally the front-engine rear-wheel drive cars tend to do well on certain circuits, but the gap between some of the car types is not as pronounced as it has been in some of the other series.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at, just if you go off wins, it kind of tells you the story a little bit. And you look at the GTE class, Mike McCoy winning 8 out of the 11 races, and Mason Smith winning the other 3. So it just goes to show you how dominant those guys were at the top class this season, and how much more Mike McCoy was the dominant force up there. You take a look at the GT3 class, and you have 4 guys with wins, as you have Craig Potter with 2, and then Tyler Kokeko, Andrew Rasmussen, and Mark Gonzalez all with 3, but Rasmussen getting his 3 wins in only 8 races. Mark Gonzalez getting his 3 wins in only 7 races. So if those guys showed up for every race, they're in the thick of things. But then you got Dane Simpson. no wins on the season, and right there in the points battle in third place, only 18 points back. Just goes to show you that his consistency and, you know, racking up bonus points, things like that, has been just phenomenal this year, and that's why he's still in this battle, running the fastest lap of the race right now in the GT3 class, that last lap, and pulling away a bit from Tyler Kokeko, trying to run down Andrew Rasmussen. And then you take a look at the GR86 class, and again, a little bit of the same. You have Mark Parkhurst and Pal Casca, literally, I mean, almost the exact same stats across the board. Both guys with 11 starts, 4 wins, 11 top 5s, 11 top 10s, 240 race points. The only difference in the 5 points is Mark Parkhurst came in with 5 more bonus points than Casca, as that was the advantage going into the race, but you know, once the start of the race, it was exactly the same across the board in every statistical category. It's pretty amazing between those two. Timothy Ponzi with 2 wins, Tyler Wong with 1 win, and those guys getting that on 8 and 7 starts respectively. So again, if those guys were able to show up for the entire season, man, we could have had you know, 4 and 5 car battles for the championship here at the end. But as it stands, it's still anyone's game in the GR86 and the GT3 class.
And as you were talking about Timothy Ponzi, what did I see come up across my SDK? Timothy Ponzi crushed. So, once again, car handwork, the bringer of doom.
Let's take a look at that, as looks like Vishwavasan had some issues as well. And take it back through. This was the crash that we seen earlier, so we'll skip that one. And that's apparently still part of it. So we'll eventually catch back up, but this is another issue here for Vishwavasan in the same corner. That Mark just not agreeing with him right there. This time he slides out to the outside. Gets back going again as there's nobody else there. But then, as Mark just mentioned, Timothy Ponzi has Alex Carver doing some work on these GR86s, and apparently it's not just the Merc that doesn't like that corner, as Ponzi, it's a nice little drift through the corner, doesn't lose too much time, doesn't throw it away too much, and he's going to get right back into it here, and he's going to lose some time to the other competitors here in the class, with Casca leading and Parkhurst in second. And I mean, the way it's shaken out here, I mean, unless the bonus points get real crazy as far as, you know, how many X's these guys have, but this is probably going to come down to whoever wins this race in the GR86 is going to take home the championship.
Yeah, I can see that. It looks like Casca's trying to run away with it right now, but Parker's not letting him go. But with Ponzi still a little way back, but as you said, 2-hour race, anything can happen. And seeing as you set up the track here for tonight, Carl, it's probably hotter than the sun out there. I'm actually trying to see if I can find the track temp somewhere.
I will bring it up here in a second. I just had it not too long ago.
100 degrees. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, so I'll show it to you for everybody there. So it's 80 degrees outside. It's a nice, beautiful day out here, but unfortunately that cranks up. And I'll have you know, it just dropped down to 99 degrees, so the track is cooling immensely out there for these guys.
I bet it's that whole degree. Yeah, but this place is tough on tyres because you spend a lot of time. There's a lot of high-speed corners here. A lot of high-speed G-force lateral load on these tyres. I'm not sure I'd want to go the whole race distance, the whole 2 hours without taking a set. So and then we come down to when do you take them?
Well, and that brings me into my next point that we haven't talked about yet as Jimmy Cover goes for the pass on Tilford in turn 1. We haven't talked about pit strategy. And, you know, we've seen these guys all year long in the 45-minute races. Each class has to pit. Now we more than double that as we got 2-hour race here tonight. These classes are all going to have to pit at least twice. The question is, will the GT3s have to pit 3 times? It's going to be very interesting as Tilford makes the move on on covert, easy as you like right there. But yeah, I think the pit strategy and you know, certainly conserving is going to be big, because you know there's going to be guys gambling out there not taking tires. I wonder if the bigger gamble is actually taking tires. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on how much these things are wearing tires with the newer update here on these longer races. I haven't had that much time to kind of wear in tires for an entire run, but these guys are not messing around. I mean, I don't see anybody holding back that much. These guys are going for it.
No, I don't see it at all. I'm just looking down the GT3 field. I'm looking at the intervals right now. First back to second is 2 seconds. Second back to third is 3 seconds. Coqueco and Ford going out as well. Wait a minute, Dominic Ford, he's back out there. That's a GTE. That's not the right class. That would explain it. He's trying to work his way back through the field. That could spice things up in no end.
Nah, Dominic Ford, he's still pretty far back. He's 37 seconds behind this battle right here. So he's going to need, you know, some real opportune pit strategy here, as he had a pit there on lap number 1 already to take care of that damage that he had. But you're looking at the best battle on the track right now, as everybody else is separated by over a second, but you know, really not by much, as Mark Gonzalez is starting to make his way through the field and starting to make his presence known, and he is now up into 3rd place as he splits Dane Simpson and Tyler Coqueco. Now, if Dane Simpson has any kind of pace to keep up with Mark Gonzalez, he needs to do so, because this could be his best opportunity to maybe pass Coqueco and at least take one more step closer to having a chance at this championship. But he's got to hang on to the back of that 88 and let the 88 do the work for him.
Yeah, very true. Let the 88 put the pressure on and just tuck him behind, let him drag you around for a bit. You know, try and use that slipstream to ease up and give you just I wouldn't say a chance to save, but you know, just give somebody else the chance to put the pressure on. It's the other advantage to that is that it's not your car trying to make the overtake. So you know, all things being equal, if they get a bit feisty up there, you can pick off 2 for the price of 1.
The only thing that these guys got to worry about is the fact that Craig Potter is coming along for the ride. He's only a second and a half behind Dane Simpson right now, and he's kind of in the catbird seat. I mean, he can see both of his competitors right in front of him, and I'm sure there's certainly some calculations going on in the heads of some of these guys, as it looks like we had an issue with Jimmy Covert. It could have been in with the battle here. As just getting a little hot into the corner, and he's gonna loop it. And unfortunately, you see the car kind of topside on the curbing right there, and that just kind of helps him loop it around. Or he might have been able to just drift it sideways and then get back going again. But it's gonna cost him a little more time. He's gonna have to dig to get back to Tolford once again.
Back to the GT3s and making quick work of the GR86. Good place to find him here. Still staying with Mark though. He's not being dropped. He's keeping pace and still has him in sight. And a little wide there from Mark.
And these guys,
I think Mark is absolutely pushing the living daylights out of that Merc, because that front end, that's the second time I've seen the front end wash a little wide on that Mercedes. So I think he's absolutely giving that Merc everything that it has and asking even more of it.
These guys are all starting to concertina together, as they were catching up to Tyler Coqueco, and right behind them, Craig Potter has caught this little group as well. So we've got 4 cars within 2 seconds right now of each other, and it's getting very interesting. And the question is, if you're Craig Potter, I know it's way too early right now, but just kind of, you know, thinking ahead. Are you just staying back here, and are you being patient and letting the opportunity come to you, or is there any point where, as they get very close and maybe even make some contact there. But do you take any kind of liberties, and if you have that run down the front stretch, do you go for the pass and hope that you don't get roughed up at all? Because let's be honest, that Ferrari has driven possibly even better with damage, so I'm not sure these guys want to damage Craig Potter at all. I mean, if you're going to take him out, you better take him out, because he drives phenomenal. As mistake from the 86 is going to allow Simpson by very close right there, maybe even a little bumping, and again, I don't ruffle the feathers of that 616. He gets even faster. So he's going to make the pass, and now your championship contenders are second, third, and fourth.
It was a good, opportune move there from Simpson, and part following him through, I think, was even more opportune, really. But Gonzalez won't be happy with being not overtaken like that, but with the situation that left him in that situation. The tyres, obviously, he's been pushing hard right from the offset, trying to catch, and I think at the moment he's just struggling for a little bit of grip. You can see it squirreling around a little bit under gas, and on the brakes it doesn't look super stable. And I think the other guys have been just a little more aware of the tyres, and now the track tends start to come down. If you've managed to conserve a little bit of tyre, now's the chance to try and push against the guys who have been going hard right from the offset.
So things may be settling down a little bit right now, but Dane Simpson is going to want to try and get away if he can from Craig Potter. But the question is, can he? I mean, these guys were pretty much on top of each other time-wise in practice, and I'm sure they would have been in qualifying had Potter been able to qualify. But he started from the back, and he's worked his way up through there now, and he has caught his two competitors. Can Dane Simpson do anything with Tyler Kokeko? Can Kokeko do anything with Andrew Rasmussen? As we haven't talked much about him, but he is stretched out to a 6-second lead now out front.
Oh, but I think we have a little. That's all changed now, because they've caught up with AJ, and now the whole. They're all bunched together. Look at this. It's just, they're so close with each other now. It's going to be all on the straight. Will AJ actually see what's happening behind him and try and make the move out of the way?
Well, it's early enough in the race, but these guys are going to get a draft, and here comes Simpson up the inside. He's not wasting any time. Looks like he might pull Potter through with him. Will these guys go 3 wide down the front stretch? Looks like Kokeko's going to go there, and we've got 3 wide. We got 4 wide down the front stretch. They're going to sort it out, but side by side, Potter goes back to the outside. And if you didn't think these guys were trying hard, there you go. Take your picture. There's your picture of the race right there, going to turn 1, and luckily they make it through unscathed, as we're not even a quarter of the way through this race, and Mark's already had his first and possibly second heart attack.
Yeah, but Potter's still not done. Oh, he's still pushing, which has allowed Gonzalez to follow him through. Kokeko's still stuck on the outside, but now he has the inside for this sequence here, so that maybe he can make this work.
Yeah, and Kokeko he's going to get the elbows out. And if I'm Kokeko, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting those elbows out. I'm not letting Potter get by me. I'm gonna use him up if I have to, because this is your chance at the points title, and you see him right there alongside you. If you let him pass, you don't know if you're going to get the opportunity to get back past him. So Kokeko not letting the 616 through just yet, and that certainly helps out Dane Simpson, as he is stretching out just a little bit from these guys. But he would certainly love to start reeling in your GT3 leader. But man, Rasmussen is on a different level right now. But yeah, Potter gets a great run. Are these guys going to side draft a little bit? They got GR86s, so 3 wide again, another 2 wide, and we'll see now. Kokeko gets back in line. He's got a little bit of a draft from Mark Gonzalez, but Gonzalez is going to send it up the inside, maybe 2 for 1. Nope, he's going to fall back. And he's going to stay behind Potter, but now Kokeko needs to stay with Gonzalez, just like Dane had to earlier, try and get around Potter.
But while this has been happening, Dane looks like he's just been trying to put those laps down. I did see a GR86 in front of Dane, so let's see how he deals with the traffic. Straight round the outside, but we're coming to that. Oh, I think they're all going to pass the GR86 before they come into that tight sequence, which should. Oh no!
Well, Keiko is stuck behind Casca. And this little bit of holdup is exactly what Bonzi and Parkhurst need as... Oh, Blick's out there for a little bit, but he's back in there. Casca has quietly moved out to a 9-second lead over Ponzi, and Mark Parkhurst is the one that is now in third place. Take a look back at this battle as they are just about side by side, and this is very important right here. And trying to take a look back and see if something happened with Mark Parkhurst, and I'm not seeing anything too evident here. But we did have another situation with Dominique Ford, and this unfortunately is going to cost him his race, as another crash right here. He gets the grass and spins it, and he's going to park it at the wall, but from there he jumped into the pits, and I think he's going to call it a night from there. Meanwhile, we've got our first man jumping into pit lane, and it's going to be Tyler Kokeko, first one to take the pit lane, and this is pretty much right at the 30-minute mark, so you figure he's got to be going for a 3-stop race, Mark.
Maybe he's, yeah, 3-stop. I didn't see the car go up, so I don't know if he took a set of tyres or whether or not that was just fuel only. But I mean, if he's in already,
judging by the lap times, it looks like a 22-second is probably just fuel. But yeah, Matthew Goldring in the pits from the back of the GTE class as well. So pit stops are starting to happen here, and it's for both the GTE and GT3. So now I'm starting to wonder if maybe even, you know, can the GTEs make it on a 2-stop race with Matt Goldring stopping this early? Makes me think that they may be on a 3-stop strategy as well.
It wouldn't surprise me. There's not that much of a difference between the GTE fuel consumption and the GT3. Not to that extent. I mean, there might be a couple of laps in it, but I mean, if they're already in, oof, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be real tight.
I mean, I think the only thing that we could probably agree on is that if there's any kind of screwy pit strategy, it's going to be with the GR86s. That there's going to be somebody that somehow is waiting until the last lap to come into the pits. Even though these guys seem to make it like 40 minutes on fuel, somehow that it'll be like a last lap pit strategy, and it'll be like old school Michael Schumacher winning it from pit lane. But we'll see how it shakes out as pit road is getting hot and heavy now. Pointer in the pits, Vischervassem in the pits. Looks like just about everybody in pit lane now, as the only one left to pit that I'm seeing in the GTE or GT3 field, your points leader Craig Potter. So maybe all that time spent behind those guys was just saving fuel. We'll keep an eye though on this Ferrari, because the last thing that he needs is to run out of fuel and have to tow back to pit lane. Not something that he wants to see at all.
I mean, when we spoke to him, as we've been speaking to him for the last couple of weeks, he did say that he was just going to be steady and try and conserve and do the right thing. And maybe this is, maybe this is what's planned out for him. Maybe this is the way that he plans on taking this, is just on strategy alone.
One thing these guys don't have to worry about is, I mean, Mark, is there an easier pit lane in the world to get into than Interlagos?
No.
I mean, it's uphill, it's straight. I mean, the only thing that it could do is if there was a pillow, before you got to the cones. I mean, it's just if you can't get into Interlagos, then just hang it up. It's not worth it.
Yeah, just veer slightly left as you're coming up the street. That's all there is to it. But what I will say is it does look like Ferrari has taken a set of tyres. I saw it come up onto some jacks. So I believe Potter has taken a set of tyres early, maybe in the hope of getting them done and dusted and out of the way so he doesn't have to take a second set.
Well, if he did, then everybody else did, because they're all around the 22, 23 second time frame for their pit stops right there. So it may be where they jack it up to put the fuel in. I don't know. If not, then it is definitely everybody on 4 new tires here. But out front,
now you say that, I am not sure that that's strictly true, because the amount of time that it takes to put in the fuel is about the length of time that it takes to put on a set of tyres. And being as that the GT3s this year can actually you can do a fuel load and tyres at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would not want to take tires. I mean, it would just make more sense to just go ahead and take tires every time. In a race like this, if it's a 45-minute race, and maybe you can save a couple seconds here and there, that'd be one thing. But here, where you're going to be going for full stints on the fuel mileage, everything like that, it's worth just go ahead and take those tires if you can, unless you think it's going to save you a second or two, and that's what you need on that last pit stop. But taking a run through the field here. In the lead here for the overall and for the GTE class, it is none other than Mason Smith here and the Corvettes, as the Corvettes are dominating the GTE class once again. Alex Carver in second place in the 79. David Topher doing a good job driving through here, as he is up into 3rd position. Matthew Goring, after falling back a little bit from his 2nd place starting position, is in 4th place. Jimmy Covert in 5th, as only 5 drivers remain out there on the track, as I believe Dominic Ford is still in pit lane, so maybe not out of the race just yet. But 5 cars in the field here tonight. Ignore that M. Thomas out there. He didn't have the cojones to get out there with these guys here tonight.
Wow.
And we will switch over to your leader here, still by 9.5 seconds now. It is the 111 of Andrew Rasmussen in the GT3 field. Dane Simpson is leading the other championship drivers, as he is in 2nd place, but he's going to need a little bit more help than this. But either way, he's got about a 2nd lead over Greg Potter, who is putting those new tires or old tires, whatever it may be, to work and trying to run him down. But he is in 3rd place. Mark Gonzalez right behind him in 4th, and then right behind them in 5th is Tyler Kokeko. We'll stick with his battle here for a second, as Kokeko looks like he has a pretty good run down on the straightaway. Maybe not enough to get to Mark Gonzalez quite yet, but looks like Carver going to make a move on the inside of Potter to make the pass there on the lap car. But again, Kokeko in 5th place. Kelly Pointer back here, not too far behind, as he still has these guys inside, about 6.5 seconds behind in 6th position. Vivesh Vassam had a couple spins there in turn 12, but has righted the ship since, and he is back here in 7th position. AJ Chantry is in 8th. Tim Thompson in pit lane right now. He is 1 lap down in 9th position, but still in the running. Pal Casca is leading your GR86 class by showing 1 lap right now, but these guys have yet to pit. So now, yeah, okay, there we go. Now I reset back at 9.5 seconds is what the lead is, as Mark Parkhurst is back into 2nd place. Timothy Ponzi is in 3rd. And then rounding out your field that is currently running is Terry Jansen in the 78, as he's about to get lapped by Mark Parkhurst down into turn number 4. But I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised, between the Casca and Parker situation right now, as these guys were neck and neck all season, and I mean, there's certainly been situations where Parkhurst has made a mistake and brought Casca back into it, and vice versa. Is that what maybe we're waiting for in this race here? Are we waiting for Casca to have that mistake to bring Parkhurst back into it, or could we just see Casca walking away from this thing?
I don't know. It is Interlagos, Carl. Anything can happen, and it often does. And it wouldn't surprise me if it just takes one of the faster cars to get slightly in the way or to push Casca offline. And the trouble with these GR86s is that they're so hard to get back going. Oh, sorry, I just got slightly distracted there by a creaky Craig Potter look there. I saw that, Craig. I saw what you were doing. So yeah, sorry, I got way distracted there. It's very easy to lose a big chunk of time in the GR86s. All it takes is to be put offline or to come slightly offline, or to just have a little bit of a run in and to get that speed back up. It's a long process, because they don't, it's not like you can just accelerate out of a situation and it's good. It doesn't work like that. You have to be so methodical. You have to hit every single point, and you have to carry that corner speed. You lose some of that corner speed, and it's 2-3 seconds gone.
These guys both locked in a fantastic battle, as you got Dane Simpson right ahead of Craig Potter. You got Mark Gonzalez right ahead of Tyler Kokeko, as these guys make the run down to turn number 4. And they will stay in those positions right now, but they are right on each other's back bumper. So we are now getting close to their typical race distance, and we've got a lot more to go. We're not even halfway here on the night. So, what are your thoughts so far on the race? What do you think is going through the mindset of some of these drivers?
Well, it's funny that you should say that. We were talking about how this is a 2-hour race and how normally that they run at 45 minutes. So now what I think is going to start to play into the hands of some of the guys who have done like a longer endurance events before, because they're going to know what happens after a period of time. They're going to watch the track start to groove in. They're going to look for the darker spots where the tires have been putting rubber down. They're also going to be a little bit more mentally prepared, because you do have to be mentally prepared. I mean, I know it seems like, it's only 2 hours long, but while you're out there, while you're giving everything you've got, you have to be aware of what's happening around you. You have to be aware of the guy in front of you. You have to be aware of what's happening. For instance, there we go, catching a GR86 on the downhill. I mean, it's just, you've got to be super focused all of the time, and I think now is going to be the time where we're going to see the guys who are used to driving for those longer periods start to show their experience just a little.
Well, and these four are separated by very little time, and you seen right there, it was Dane Simpson and Craig Potter right on top of each other, and then Gonzalez and Kokeko on top of each other, but Simpson was able to get past Mark Parkhurst in the GR86 a lot quicker than these other guys, mainly over Potter. Potter fell back into the clutches now of Gonzalez and Kokeko, and it could be something that quickly. I mean, you make one, maybe not even a mistake, just, again, catching those guys at the wrong time, and you were battling to try and make a pass, and you could have two guys pass you in just a blink of an eye, and could be the difference between you winning the championship and finishing second.
Oh, see, and that's unfortunate. You're catching the GR86 right at the wrong point. You need to get the run out of here to have good speed up that straight. So now, your line's been compromised. The rest of the field are coming, and they are coming.
Mark Gonzalez trying to get the draft here. Potter right behind Dane Simpson, so he's going to get the draft right there, and it's going to stay Simpson, Potter, Gonzalez, Kokeko for another 1, 2, 3 here as they set off to turn number 4, but I don't think these guys are going anywhere unless, you know, somebody has a mistake, but these guys look like they're locked in a battle. And even if, you know, you'd see Kokeko, you know, go from the back to the front here, I don't think any of these guys are really equipped to stretch out. I think they're all on just equal pace right now, and it's great for us, but it's got to be frustrating for these guys, because you'd love to just break away and just be able to breathe for a second, but not going to be the case right here as all on top of each other.
Can I make a little observation? You see how hard Mark is having to wheel that Merc? I mean, he is absolutely driving the wheels off that thing. He's pushing that Merc hard, real hard. Now, whether or not that's because he's on all tyres and they've just dropped off, again, or whether it's just because the pace of the guys that he's running with is just that good that they're all trying the same. But I mean, the amount of wheel movement that he was having to chuck into that car to get that front end to bite down, that was a lot.
Well, I mean, if we still haven't figured out, I would imagine if these guys are taking you know, well, they're not taking a full fuel load, they're taking a half fuel load, but if you're coming in here and filling up and the tires take just about the same amount of time, everybody took the same amount of time in the pits that time, and it would shock me that you didn't have one person, you know, trying to take tires. So I'm assuming that they all took tires, and if that's the case, maybe that could be why Mark Gonzalez is, you know, wheeling everything like a madman. He knows that next time when he comes in the pits, he's taking tires again anyway, so why not just beat the brakes off of these tires, essentially. So it could be the mindset in the 88, but I think, as Craig Potter goes to the inside, Dane Simpson gonna have the inside for the hairpin now, and he's gonna hold off for the time being the 616, but does he make the same move right here? Nope, Dane Simpson gonna just close the door coming into the corner, but now they're catching up once again to a GR86. How will they get by? Simpson gonna get by. Potter's gonna have to stay in behind a little bit as Jansen's gonna float out to the outside. Give these guys a chance, and some bumping and banging right there as Potter couldn't get going that well. Gonzalez got into the back of him, and Kokeko got into the back of him. It's gonna allow Simpson to stretch out just a little bit. As now Gonzalez all over the back.
I think Gonzalez is going to make the move. I think he's going to just plus it up the inside. Oh,
takes a little dummy move right there, but
brakes.
Yeah, Potter not giving up that position. I think the other thing that comes into play here is we've had some races that we focused on the GTEs because they had some epic battles between Smith and Carver and Ford and McCoy. We've had obviously plenty of battles that we watched for the GR86s between Casca, Parkhurst, and even Tyler Wong and Timothy Ponzi. Haven't had too many races where we've just had some epic battles in the GT3s, but I think they're trying to make up for it here tonight in the finale.
I don't know about making up for it. I mean, dear God, they're absolutely going at it hammer and tongue with some phenomenal racing. I will say this. I mean, there's still a good amount of respect being shown from
not
all
to
the
stop you,
drivers.
but we have a development here, and it involves the 221 of Pau Casca. And unless it's SDK messing with me, it is not.
Oh, it is not.
It is not. Pau Casca absolutely destroys the 221. He's got to tow back into pits. I mean, we'll take a look at that one more time, but I have no idea what happened. It's like he was going to go into pits, and then he didn't, and then, I mean, that just, it looked like a lapse of judgment or something. I'm not sure how to even take that, but unbelievable developments here. And unless something happens with Mark Parkhurst, that could be the championship. And just as we come back, Tyler Kokeko having an issue. as they are working around some of the GR86s, but right in front there, looks like AJ Chantry coming back on. He gives room to Kokeko, but I think Kokeko just, you know, took the safe route and stayed to the inside right there. Gonna spin it. But, man, it's... Mark, we're getting close to the halfway point, buddy. I think the tensions are starting to rise here a little bit. They're starting to bubble over, and these guys are now all over each other.
Well, I have one ear.
Mark Gonzalez pushing.
Yeah, I've got one ear on the radio chat, and things are getting a little spicy out there. Just a little. I think there might be a crossword or three with certain other drivers, but I think this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We're at the point now where the guys who are used to doing the endurance stuff and the guys who are used to having to maintain focus for an extended period of time, they're going to start to come to the fore. They're going to start. They're going to be settling into their grooves. They're going to, they're just going to be going, well, I've just got to lock my nap times out. I've just got to keep my pace going. I've just got to, not make those mistakes. Whereas the guys who haven't had that much experience of the endurance stuff, oh, good Mark, hold on to it, buddy. Oh, what a drive, what a catch, what a save. They're going to struggle. The focus is going to be starting to wander. How far are we in? We're 55 minutes in. I mean, it's only 10 minutes after a normal 45 minutes race, but I mean, normally these guys are in Discord now and, having a drink and chatting about how it went.
So, I'm looking at the pitting here, and I'm not sure if I don't think Casca came into the pits before the incident right there where he ran into the ran into the pit barrier. So, I mean, he had Timothy Ponzi came in on lap 23. He had Mark Parkhurst came in on lap 24. Pau Casca came in on lap 25 because he had to, because he towed in there. So, quite possibly, it might have been where he came onto the front stretch and was thinking maybe he can make it around one more lap, and then at the last second realized that he could not, because sometimes these fuel trackers that us drivers use, they kind of jump around a little bit. They'll say you're good for 1.2, you're still 1.2, 1.1, then all of a sudden you'll get to a spot on the track where it'll just jump 2 or 3 tenths.
0.8.
Yeah, it'll jump down to 0.8 exactly. So it could have been what happened there. Tried to make the turn and it did not happen. I'm just speculating. I have no idea. But I mean, that's about the only thing that can maybe explain the situation right there. That was very unfortunate for Pau Casca, but now he's got his hands full. He's got 38 seconds, actually, sorry, 44 seconds to make up to to Mark Parker. So I'm so beside myself. I'm just shocked at what happened, but Casca is still in this thing. He's still on the same lap as Mark Parkhurst. He's about, I want to say, close to a half a track behind him at this point, but he's still got a chance. If Mark Parkhurst, makes a mistake, if he has some kind of issue, or maybe if Pau Casca can get around and make one last pit stop, because he did pit on lap 25. So, maybe the pit strategy that we talked about can come back into play, and maybe that 221 is not quite out of it just yet.
Can I ask, I don't remember, do we have fast repairs for this race?
Yes, as usual, these guys do have their one fast repair, but
I'm just thinking, did Casca have his fast repair turned on?
Oh, he absolutely had to have. Yeah, I mean, the shock that he took to the car. You see that car is fully repaired. There's no way he had to tow. It's not like he could even limp that thing around. It's like it was just a meatball. That was a meatball sandwich right there.
Well, it was just that when we went into the pit, normally when you take the fast repair, everything sort of like magically makes itself right. So, and I didn't see that happen. It might have just been, I mean, this iRacing, it does that sometimes. You'll go in there and it says, you've got no damage, and you'll come out and the wheel will be 45 degrees to the left.
Oh, yeah.
Said, are you sure?
So as it stands, we've got about the same amount of lead. It's just stretching out a little bit in the GTE and the GT3 class, as I did not see it happen, but we will show you it. We do have a pass for second place as Dane Simpson goes wide in turn 4, opens up the inside. Craig Potter, thank you very much. He's going to go ahead and drive right on by and move himself into second place. Dane Simpson going to be right there in third, and certainly this battle not over at all, as you see right here. The 96 all over the backside as these guys dive into the inside of the GR86s. They're right behind Dave Tilford in the GTE, and not often you see a GT3 just hooking right on the back of the GTE for the draft, but Greg Potter all over the backside of that Corvette. And he legitimately ran him down on the front stretch. Pretty funny to see, but it just goes to show you how long this straightaway is here at Interlagos.
Just how slippery that Ferrari is, but what I will say is that I think there might actually be a slight crinkle on the front of Dave Simpson's beam. It doesn't look as straight as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like maybe on the other passenger side there, wrinkled up just a little bit. So a great job either way. The fact that he's stuck with Craig Potter here, he is not letting him go. Mark Gonzalez taking a little trip off the track, and looks like the woes are continuing for Tim Thompson here, as he is just not having fun here tonight. It definitely had more fun last night in the Premier All-Star Open and All-Star race, but at 05 just not acting well for him tonight. And did you want some drama, Mark? Because we've got a little bit here, just a little taste of what could happen here, as Mark Barkhurst sliding it sideways, and certainly not going to give up too much time here, but he had to wait there for Andrew Rasmussen to get along through, and that's just going to let Casca reel him in just a little bit more. And now that distance was 44 seconds, down to 32.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, Carl. The smallest little thing, the shortest little mistake, and because it's the GR86s, it's not that easy. It takes you a little time. All of that momentum that you've built up and that you've been trying to maintain, gone. And now you have to start all over again.
Again, all this happening, we have not reached the halfway point yet, so there's still a lot to play. But I tell you what, I feel like once we hit that halfway point, it's going to be a ticking clock, and these guys are just going to be counting down the minutes, counting down the seconds, and it's just going to feel like it's going quicker and quicker and quicker, and they're going to need to make those moves and make those passes, need to make those pit decisions that much quicker as this season is coming to an end.
Is your clock slower than mine? I've got 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 minute and 47 over.
No, right now it is 1 hour and 2 minutes left in this race, according to SDK. Switch over to my yeah, and that time right there that you're seeing in iRacing, that is probably including the grid time.
That would make sense.
That's what I'm guessing right there. But yeah, according to SDK, you see it at the top of your screen there. We got 1 hour, 1 minute, and 30 seconds now left in this race. But it is all Mason Smith at the front of your GTE class, leading by 14.5 seconds over Alex Carver in second, David Tilford in third, Matthew Goring, Jimmy Covert rounding out your field of drivers that are still running. Dominic Ford has, I don't think officially retired yet, but he is pretty much out of the race there in 6th position.
Oh, sorry. I just got a Mark Parker's crushed.
Yep, that was just the one from earlier.
God damn it.
We gotta get you back live here. Getting you all worked up.
I've got it.
In the GT3 class, it is led and has been led the entire way now by Andrew Rasmussen in the 111, as he is out to a 12-second lead over Craig Potter, who is your points leader coming in and would leave here as the points champion in the position that they are running right now. Dean Simpson in 3rd, Kelly Pointer, Mark Gonzalez, Tyler Kokeko now back in 6th position. Certainly needs to rebound to get back into this race. 7th is Vishwavasan. 8th is AJ Chantry. And 9th is Tim Thompson. Looks like Tim Thompson is back out on the track right now. Yes, he is back out on the track. Just coming back. And then in your GR86, it is Timothy Ponzi out front. We've seen him out front before, and certainly don't want to jinx it, but hopefully he can actually hold on to this 17.5-second lead right now. Mark Parkhurst is in 2nd place. Pal Casca still doing what he can to try and chip into that lead. It's down to 31.5 seconds from 2nd to 3rd, but Casca in 3rd. Terry Jansen in 4th, and it looks like Tim Thompson is now jumping back into pit lane, so that 05 is certainly not working out well for him.
Yeah, unfortunate for Tim there. It's not been the best season for him in the GT class. Unfortunate, underrated driver. I personally find I like Tim a lot. Yeah, Interlagos is not a driver-friendly track. Unless you've done a lot of laps around here, it's one of those places where you need to know where the runoffs are. You need to know where you can take curb and where you can't take curb, and just how far you can run outside. Because you see a lot of the drivers running over onto well, what's essentially AstroTurf. Really, it's an AstroTurf with a concrete underneath it. Then that still gives them a little bit of grip. But from sometimes inside the car, you don't know that that's not grass out there. So unless you've put in the time and unless you've put in a lot of laps around here, you really don't know. It's very difficult to be able to keep that momentum going because you don't know just how far you can push that car off track, and you don't want the X's.
So certainly finding his pace now is Pal Casca, as he just ran the fastest lap of the race for the GR86s with a 153.06, which is 0.02 of a second faster than the previous fastest time, which was held by Mark Parkhurst, but gained almost gained about 0.8 of a second on that lap. So chipping in slowly here is Casca, but he's certainly going to need some help before this thing is over. Again, you never know how the pit strategy plays out, as he was able to make it to lap 25 before he came into the pits that time. We'll see if maybe he can make it on one more pit stop with maybe a little bit less fuel. Maybe he gets on the back of Andrew Rasmussen, throws out a little tow hook and gets pulled around here.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. Unless he's got a job, one of those Acme bolts that with the plunger suckers, yep, with a rope, and it flings out the front of the car, Wile E. Coyote style, and he'd get Andrew to drag him around the track. I think that was the only way he was going to have any chance of staying with him going up that straight. Oh, hello.
So Craig Potter was about 2 seconds ahead of Dane Simpson, but letting the GTE of Matthew Goring go by there into turn 1 gives up a few tenths of a second and allows Dane to just, come back, get a little bit of a sniff, but still outside of drafting range right now.
Kokeko in the pits.
And this possibly the second round of pit stops here for the GTEs coming up, as most of them pit on lap 20. a few on lap 21, so it would make sense that pit stops will start to happen once again here, and just over 1 hour, so I don't think there's any way that these guys are not making a third pit stop here. There's no way they're going to make it an hour for sure. No. So 3 pit stop race for the GTEs, I'm sorry, GT3s at a minimum. Have yet to see the GTEs back in there yet, and yeah, since we spoke, I didn't see any issues there though.
No, I think that I think they might have been going.
So we'll see if anybody else is taking into pits this time, as Rasmussen, your leader, is now into pit lane. We'll see if Potter elects to go around 1 extra lap like he did last time, and actually technically should be able to go around 2 extra laps, but do you even take the chance at this point? Looks like he's got plenty of fuel to go at least 1 more. Dane Simpson is going to head into the pits behind him. Matthew Goring in the pits as well. Looks like Kelly Pointer is going to stay out for an extra lap here, so he's going to try and get the extra lap. Now, with Craig Potter here, I mean, do you just kind of really settle in here? Do you get an extra lap here? It's you had a nice little lead over Dane Simpson right there, but Dane should be able to get the you know, a little bit of an undercut speed. But Craig Potter made an extra lap on that first one. Does he go for, you know, another extra lap on this one, which would give him 2 ahead of these guys, and make that last pit stop even deeper into this race, or at least the fact that he's not going to need as much fuel as these other guys are going to need, and he'll be able to gain that time right back right there.
Well, I'm just trying to make the quick math calculations. That would mean that essentially, if he can go 2 longer each time round, if he's gone 2 longer, so he should not, by all accounts, be in for another, another 3 laps. But if he can run 2 laps longer.
Well, no, he ran 1 lap longer last time, so that's what I'm saying. With this one, if he could run, he's already run a lap longer right now on this stint, which kind of makes it even par, but. Yeah, well, I guess we just sit back and see what the decisions here are in the 616 pit. He's in a prime spot right now. Looks like he's staying plenty wide here. Al Parker's going to cut to the inside, but not going to go into pits. But ooh, what a move there from Jimmy Coburn. I guess, you know, when you have the grip that you do and how easy this pit lane is, why not make it a little spicy?
Jimmy, I'm surprised that GR86 didn't just spin around like a top. He took so much wind off the front of it.
Trying to see if I can get back to where that actually happened. I'm just gonna have to rewind it. A little bit more to give myself some time here, but yeah, that's certainly one way to do it. We'll take a look at it one more time from the
Can we do the
from the point of view of yeah, just riding along and just letting the 616 by the. Oh, hey, there we go. I'm sorry, folks, for those of you that wanted to watch the race, we got to watch that one more time. I think in slow-mo here, as easy as you like right there for the 616 of Potter. And yeah, now it's time where you can think about starting to drift back out.
What's that? God damn! Jimmy, what a move, Jimmy. My God, man. If I was Parkhurst, I would be absolutely, and change your underwear, please.
So Potter now into pit lane, so this is going to take the pit cycle all the way through the GTE and GT3 field. And we'll see where 616 is going to come out. The 111 is already going past right now. And certainly looks like tires going on the car once again as he is down and away. The 96 of Simpson coming onto the straightaway, but looks like Potter should have an easy exit and an easy lead here on Dane Simpson is actually, it is Kelly Pointer that is in that third position here. And Dane Simpson losing it in the background right there. Spinning sideways. He's going to back up and get it back going, but that little mistake right there is not what the 96 needs. Greg Potter will have about a 4.5-second lead over Kelly Pointer as they run right now. 14.5-second lead up to Andrew Rasmussen, and unfortunately, I feel bad here, but Tim Thompson just still struggling. I was just going to say a couple laps ago, finally ran his fastest lap of the race, and it seems like there's a couple corners that Merc just not like. Turn 4 is one of them, turn 12 is another, as he's going to do a little off-roading and just going to park that thing back here. It looks like, yeah, he's going to try and back that thing all the way up the hill to pit lane, but he's going to tow it instead.
Oh, I was going to say, wasn't it Alonso who took a deck chair around Interlagos and just sat himself on a corner watching the rest of the race?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the Tim Thompson school. That's what he's going to do right now. He's just going to. Oh no, Rasmussen.
Kokeko. Yeah, right in front of Pau Casca, and luckily no incident right there. But Dane Simpson gonna retake that position. We get you back live, and I'll tell you what, keep an eye on that 75 of Kelly Pointer, as he's starting to come alive here as of late, and he is reeling in the 616 of Potter. It is down to 3.5 seconds. Last time around it was 4.5, so gaining a full second on him this time. So we had an issue here with David Tilford now into turn number 4. And this was just a snap over, or a snap correction there for the 12. So no harm, no foul right there. He's going to get back going.
Yeah, I think this is some of that fatigue starting to kick in. You're out on fresh tyres. When was Tilford in? When is Tilford coming for a pit?
Yep. Yeah, everybody has cycled back through now. Yeah. And looks like when it comes to the differing pit strategy here, I mean, from Tyler Kokeko in 6th place right now, he pit on lap 39, and you take a look at Craig Potter, pit on lap 42, so he's got 3 more laps under the belt than Kokeko, let alone the fact that he is up there in 2nd and Kokeko back there in 6th. So the points looking mighty fine right now for the driver of the 616, but still a long way to go. But and just as we say that, Mark Gonzalez running the fastest lap of the GT3 class so far this race. But as I said, we are past halfway. We have got 48 minutes, just a little bit short of that, 48 minutes left in this race. And it's about time to crank these guys up and give you guys one last love to hear for the season. Beautiful sights and sounds here of the Core GT series as we take you through all the different makes and models of these cars out here, and seen some fantastic battling here, and now we do see a pass here as Kelly Pointer was able to get past Craig Potter here, and we'll take you back and show you the pass as it happened. A little GR86 action mixed in there as they get around Timothy Ponzi and right around Craig Potter. So Kelly Pointer, told you, watch out for that 75. He's got some pace here tonight, and getting it done, driving up through this field after a bit of a rough start. He is certainly right of the ship, and now up in the second place in the GT3 class. I don't know if he has anything, I don't know if anybody has anything for Andrew Rasmussen out front, out to almost a 20-second lead right now, but Craig Potter just trying to hang it with Kelly Pointer right now and letting him tow him around this track, as these guys got an 11.5-second lead over Mark Gonzalez now, who is in fourth. Dane Simpson back there another 9 seconds, and Tyler Kogeko back another 8 seconds. So what has happened to these guys in the second half of the race, as they were all within 2 seconds of each other, and now you can't even get them within 30 seconds of each other.
What I will say, Kelly Pointer, local AMSOIL representative, pretty slick driving there.
See what you did there.
Yeah, you gotta like it. You got simple things, simple minds. Just yeah.
And while we have Pointer up here, it's worth mentioning once again a thanks to Kelly for sponsoring the season, and with Porter Motor Supplies, your AMSOIL dealer. If you're looking for anything AMSOIL, whether it's personal use, commercial use, or you want to become a rep yourself, get in contact with Kelly or check out his website, pointersmotorsupplies.com. And I mean, just can't thank him enough for sponsoring the GT series here. He sponsors the ARCA and Truck Series on Tuesday nights, and has already been in contact to go ahead and put up some sponsorship for next season for the GT series, the ARCA series, and the Premier series for next season. So absolutely fantastic individual. I mean, just any way, it's, sure, it's going to get, help his business name get out there, but just mainly doing it to help us out as well. So thank you once again to Kelly, and great to see him finishing off the season strong here, as he's certainly got a good number 75 Pointer Motorsport AMSOIL BMW GT3 running out there tonight.
He's been clocking those laps away, steady, absolutely rock steady all evening. Quite an impressive drive from Kelly, actually. Overall, haven't seen too much of him this season, but he's incredibly busy with the business, and we understand that he can't get to every race, but when he does come out, he certainly does put on a show, and he's made his way quietly through the field, but there's no doubt in the man's pace.
No, and he's certainly shown it when he's been out there. He's had his fair share of mistakes that have taken him out of positions that he probably well deserved, but doing good here so far, as he's a bit in the way here of Alex Carver trying to make his way through. And got to give it to Carver while we're kind of here talking about it, as Mason Smith has led this entire race here so far from the GTE field and the overall, but not exactly getting away. He was out there to about 12 seconds, I think it was the most I've seen him out there into the lead. It was down under 10 seconds now, just creeping back up over, as Carver was a little bit slow getting around the 75 here, but Carver not just letting him walk away from this race here, and only just a little bit down and just losing a little bit of ground on this lap, but has kept himself in the mix here, and just is a mistake from Mason Smith to get back in this thing. And no offense to Mason, but he's probably thrown away more races this season than he's done good, and it's reason Well, he comes into this race without a chance at winning the championship after taking it down last season.
Yeah, it's been rough for Mason. He's been unfortunate, although I don't think he's been as unfortunate as Jimmy Covert, because judging by the looks of things, Jimmy looks like he might have had a little coming together with somebody.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see what happened here as Covert battling here with Goring and trying to put a little bit of a block on, and contact is made, and the boys that do some racing together on Saturdays, no love lost right there as the 14 gets spun around and he gets right back on the track and right back after it. So hopefully we're not going to end the season with some fireworks here. Well, or maybe we will.
It's going to be all going to go down in the pit lane. I'm going to be there.
All right, sounds good. Getting back live here now, and Mark, do you remember when the lead for Mark Parkhurst over Pal Casca was 44 seconds about 30 minutes ago?
I do indeed.
It is under 20.
You see, you can never put any of these guys down. Just when you think that you've got it all sewn up and it's in the bag, and all you got to do is keep your pace, and it's these back markers, it's these pesky GTEs and GT3s.
Yeah,
just stop getting in the way.
and I think it's probably a little bit of Mark Parkhurst being cautious when they come through, and Pal Casca maybe being a little more aggressive and holding his position a little bit harder, and fighting to not lose any time, and if anything gain time. But biggest spread we've seen all season in the GR86 class, as 20 seconds from first to second, 20 seconds from second to third, and then 2 laps down is Terry Jansen. But I have a feeling this thing is far from over, as we've got a little bit over 30 minutes left in this race, and don't look now, but that lead overall is down now under 9 seconds.
He's not giving up. Alex is not giving in. He's determined. He's going to give it everything he's got. There's a good last lap from Alex there as well. 1:31.37. Just a fraction off his fastest.
And then a 1:31.21 this time by, so almost looks like a just over 0.8 of a second faster was Alex Carver that lap over Mason Smith. And keep in mind that these guys all going to make another pit stop yet, and we're coming up on that very soon. Question is, like, you got some guys like Tyler Kokeko, can he make it to that 60 lap mark to make this thing all the way to the end? Because he pit on lap 39, so he's gonna have to stretch it out to a 21 lap run here. These other guys that pit on lap 40, they should be able to make it to lap 60. And of course, you got Kelly Pointer pitting on lap 41, Rick Potter pitting on lap 42. Those guys will most certainly be able to make it to that ever so important lap 60. But we are now 30 minutes left in the season, and it is Mason Smith leading your GTE class, Alex Carver in second, Jimmy Covert in third, Goring and Tilford rounding out your top 5, and Dominic Ford rounding out the GTE field here tonight. Andrew Rasmussen with a 22.5 second lead over Kelly Pointer in second in the GT3. Greg Potter in third. Mark Gonzalez, who is putting in some flyers of a lap. Do not count out that 88, as he was down 10 seconds on Craig Potter. It is down to 6 seconds now, as he is putting in some of the fastest laps of the race in the GT3 field. Dane Simpson in 5th place, Tyler Kokeko in 6th, Abiy Vishavasam, AJ Chancery, and Tim Thompson round out your 9-car GT3 field. And then in the GR86, you have Timothy Ponzi in the lead, as it looks like he is in for his second and final pit stop. Mark Parkhurst is going to take over the lead, but he will wash out in 2nd place, and then Pal Casca in 3rd, Terry Jansen in 4th.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. Ponzi coming in on the pits for his last stop. Also, it looks like Jimmy might have been driving slightly angry because he's also passed Matt going back again after their little excursion into the off track.
Right there, a lockup, big lockup from the 95 of Goring, and that's going to easily allow Jimmy Covert to get by.
Yeah. But yeah, with positive. Sorry, the other thing that I was going to say before I get distracted again. But you do love distracting the car.
I do. That's what I do.
You keep flicking through all the different cars. I can't
There's
keep
so
up.
much going on out here.
I know, there's just a little too much happening. But what I was going to say, GTE cars now, will Alex Carver take another set of tyres for his last stop, or will he keep the set that he's got on there on, in the hope that it brings him just that little bit closer to Mason? Because the GTEs differ from the GT3s in the fact that they don't put the tyres on at the same point, or at least I don't believe they do.
No, they do not. Yeah, they do not, because you look at the last times, and the typical time for the GTEs is around 20 seconds, and you had Mason Smith and Alex Carver both taking tires that last time because their pit stops were at the 46-second mark.
So are they both now going to try and go to the end on what tyres they've got, or will somebody take the bold strategy and actually put a fresh set of boots on in the hope that well, when they come out, possible 10-12 second deficit could be made up on fresh rubber?
Well, here's, very close there with Goring trying to chase back down Jimmy Covert. Here's what I will say. I don't think anybody takes tires here. Even the guys that are in that third, fourth, fifth, I don't think anybody does. Judging by their lap times, they are very slightly off their best times. So they're not losing any kind of traction here. I mean, you look at Alex Carver, that last lap around, you're in a 131.19. His fastest lap was 131.12. So only 0.07 of a second off. Now, granted, he's got new tires since that last pit stop, but even you look at Jimmy Covert, who did not take tires the last time, he was only 0.29 of a second off of his fastest lap time. So these guys are turning in the times. Doesn't matter if they have the fresh tires or slightly used tires or not. So I think the time that you're going to lose, there's no way that you're going to get it back. So, I mean, unless you're just not feeling comfortable with your set of tires, unless you're worried about them really kind of falling off the table, I think these guys are gas and go to the end.
Yeah, but although I agree, I do wonder now if that might come into play towards the end of the race with the tyres kind of dropping off. Although the track temp has come down, it's now only 87 at the moment. So tyre wear not going to be as extreme or as severe. So with a bit of luck, they should be able to go right to the end on the sets that they've got. But that will mean that this will be maybe the first run they've done without having a fresh set of boots on. So heavy fuel load, warm tyres could make things a little interesting.
So Pal Casca has yet to make his final pit stop, and this is where it gets interesting, and we'll try and see where it shakes out. He is consistently putting in the fastest laps of the race here in the GR86 class, and certainly wearing down the time in between him and Mark Parkhurst, as it's flip-flop right now. Parkhurst is behind him, but he has made his last pit stop, as has Ponzi. Casca has yet to come in. He is less than a second behind the class leader right now of Ponzi, as he's trying to run him down. When will Casca come into pits? He's got to make a pit stop. He last pit on lap 25, so certainly going to need to make one more pit stop to finish this thing off on fuel. But when will it happen? How much fuel does he need to take? I mean, it could have been. I can't get the words out to say that it was a blessing in disguise that he hammered the pit wall as he did. But I guess maybe it made the tow time that much shorter, and he got back into pits quickly, because if he stays out there and he doesn't make it back around, his race is definitely over. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he was able to pit a lap later than everybody else, and it may help him out here with the strategy. He's going to take less fuel, and now right on the backside of Casca. So, again, how long is he going to stay out? Does he want to try and take this lead? Don't do that right there, though, Mr. Casca. What a save, keeping it off the wall. But right there, I mean, that's a mistake that you cannot afford to make if you're trying to run back this time. He had almost an 18-second lead over Mark Parkhurst. That right there cost him 4 seconds on the track, and he's going to immediately bring it in. Now, we'll see how this thing shakes out. How far ahead will Mark Parkhurst be, as trying to take a look at where he is on the track. 23 is passed right now. So how far of a lead is it going to be, and will he have any chance of making this thing up? As Parkhurst just ran his fastest lap of the race on that last lap, so certainly turning up the heat a bit here late, as the rolls are pretty much going to flip-flop, and it is down to 14.5 seconds, 15 as it's stretching out here as Casca comes out of the pits. So again, you got to give it to him. He was 44 seconds adrift and has cut that lead down by 30 seconds almost at this point. It's not over. It is not over. It is 22 minutes left in this race, and if he just picks up, you know, a good, what was it, about 0.8 of a second a lap maybe, and he is right there. We mentioned that, I just mentioned that Parkhurst ran his fastest lap of the race. What I will say is that that fastest lap is almost 0.7 of a second slower than Casca's fastest lap. So the 221 has a ton of speed out here tonight. Can the little turtle be the tortoise in this one? And after a hairy incident, can he bring this thing back? Dad jokes for days.
The puns are never ending. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, here's hoping. Powell absolutely driving the wheels off that thing around here. As you said, 15 seconds. Time's getting a little short. He's gonna have to push and maybe hope that, you know, there's a little bit of traffic issues for Parkhurst. I'm sure that, you know, he doesn't want to wish it. But, you know, at the end of the day, he just needs to get his head down and push on and, you know, see where the dice lay at the end of it. It's going to be tricky, though. 15 seconds. I know he's been pushing hard, and I'm not sure he's got enough time.
Yeah, you see on the track map the white number 23 kind of going towards the top middle portion of the infield as the 221 comes around turns 4 and 5. So right here, they are the closest they are on the track. Unfortunately, quite a big distance in between, and Casca dropping back a little bit here with maybe some cold tires as he tries to reel in the 23 of Parkhurst. But it's a tall task, and he certainly gave this task to himself by having the issue with pit road, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. Hopefully he's okay to talk to about it after that thing is. That was a vicious incident right there. But meanwhile, while all this is going on in your GT3 field, Craig Potter is in the lead, but that is because he has yet to take his final pit stop and still out there for yet another lap, as everybody else in the GT3 field has come into the pits. Kokeko coming in on lap 57. To be very interesting to see if he can get that Audi to the finish line on that tank of fuel. Everybody else pitting on lap 60 or 61, and here we're on lap 65, and Potter still stretching this thing out.
I will say, Mason just come into the pits for his last stop. But we'll have to see where he comes out compared to Alex. It should be interesting.
Yeah, Carver having already come into the pits and now coming onto the front stretch right here as the 6 of Mason Smith still in pit lane. As you see right there, he's got that #1 pit stall from having the pole here. Carver on the front stretch and trying to dig as hard as he can as the 6 now coming out and down through turns 3 and 4 on the access road. And there's your gap right there. You can see both on the same straightaway. It is down to 6.8 seconds of a lead. So now Carver has got the rabbit in sight. Can he run the rabbit down?
He's been pushing, and it does look like it's a little busy, a little further around the track. This could this could get real spicy real quick.
Speaking of pushing, you got the battle once again here between Jimmy Covert and Matthew Goring, as they just both got around Pal Casca, who has now cut that lead for Parkhurst down to 12.25 seconds.
Oh, maybe I'm going to have to eat humble pie and eat my words here. At this pace, it's looking likely that, you know, getting towards the end, Pal Casca could have Mark Parkhurst in sight and close enough, maybe, to make that move. And
in situations like this right here, where he's going to lose some time trying to let these GTEs by carefully, and you see just having to take a little bit of break there where he normally wouldn't, and you see that time just dropping and dropping and dropping, and now almost under double digits.
So difficult. It is so difficult. This is just one of the things of multi-class racing. This is just one of those little disciplines that you have to get used to, that you have to try and get your head around, is knowing when you can push, when you can't, when the cars are going to come up on you. You have to have, as we've talked about before, eyes all around you, in the back of your head, at the forefront, because it's just going to get into that situation where you need to be aware of everything that's happening around you.
Another winner last night in the All-Star Open, which is the qualifier to get into the All-Star race, the last qualifier. B. Vishwavasan taking down that win last night, so certainly a shout out to him, as he's not exactly having the season finale that he would like here tonight. But a mistake there from Goring's going to give up the inside to Jimmy Covert, and he will try to step through, not exactly knocking down the door as they come up on a GR86 of Ponzi and split him. Still side by side, coming down to the line. Barney getting a good view of this one as they'll head off into turn 1, and we may have fireworks yet, as the 14 is going to get around the 95 one more time. Can he hold it down into turn number 4, as now the Porsche is going to eat down this straightaway?
Such good drive out the corner, that Porsche.
And he is going to hold on to the position for the time being. Going a little bit wide there and opening the door a bit, but he's going to slam it right back shut on the 95 of Goring. It seems like that Corvette is just a little bit testy on some of these corners and just a little bit sideways.
Yeah, I took the vet out for a little spin before we came in here, and yeah, there's a couple of little places where it does. It's got so much low end grunt that you can't get on it as early as you think you might be able to. It just lights those back tyres up and wants to slide.
Speaking of sliding, David Telford having a bit of an issue here in turn number 1. Catches the grass, does a 360, backs it into the wall there, and surprisingly I don't see much damage as he drives away. We'll take a look and see if there's any damage on the backside of this thing, and a little scraped up, but all things considered, not it got away kind of scot-free, if you ask me, on that incident.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
So that last lap, Pal Casca was able to eat in another 3 seconds on Mark Parkhurst, and this thing is down to under 9 seconds right now, as getting a bit of a tow there, but a little bit of a slowdown from David Topher going around. But we hop on board with Mr. Casca right now, and you will see here in a second, possibly way off in the distance, that white car turning in right now is Mark Parkhurst.
And that's something that you want to see, is you always want to see who you're hunting down. It just gives you that frame of reference, just that little bit of incentive. I can see you. I can see you, and I'm coming.
But the other thing it does is right there is you see that carrot dangling, and you start to push that a little bit harder, and you start making some mistakes. You see Casca making a little bit of mistake in turns 2 and 3 right there. And that's going to allow Parkhurst to stretch back out just a little bit, as time is starting to run out, and he had to gain about 0.8 of a second a lap. Now it's getting closer to a second a lap that he's going to have to gain if he's going to get this thing done. I mean, if he has some more laps like the last one, gaining 3 seconds, then you know it's a wrap. He's going to get there, but I don't think he's going to have the luxury of that too much, especially as he gets closer and closer. I'm sure Parkhurst will turn up the heat a little bit more, but as it stands right now, this has become a fascinating little storyline here, as Casca does everything he can to try and reel these guys in. Meanwhile, the battle for the final podium position in GTE still not decided, as Go-Ring has that Porsche all over the backside of the Covert's Corvette right now. So we got a chance, if you haven't yet, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe here tonight, as it's been some fantastic racing tonight, but it's been a fantastic season for these guys. And again, the next season is already scheduled out and already on its way, as season 4 for the GT series will kick off on July 10th at Canadian Tire with a doubleheader there, as we're going to be going to some newer tracks here next season. And these guys are looking forward to it. It's going to be a new class, a new top class. It's not going to be the GTEs. It's going to actually be the LMP3. So the prototype's going to make a stop here for the GT series. The bottom class is going to get switched up, as well as gone will be the GR86s, and in will be the GT4s once again. And we'll see how those fare, as just like the GR86s, when we had the GT4s, I know me and Mark, we had some fantastic battles, as those cars are maybe just a little bit faster versions of the GR86.
Yeah, good racing as well with the GT4 cars. Again, the power disparity and performance disparity not as pronounced as it is with some of the other classes, and not always a joy to look at. Again, there's a lot of cars in that field, and I think it's a good progression from the guys who have been running the GR86 if they want to go up to the GT4 car. Not, you know, feeling maybe that the GT3s, they're not quite there yet. The GT4's a great step up. Great racing with the GT4 cars, as Carl was saying earlier. Me and him have had some absolutely phenomenal racing with the GT4 cars. It's not as downforce or as aero dependent as the GT3 cars, but it does kind of give you a little bit of an introduction as to, you know, as to how the aero works, and you need to be just a little aware of what's happening around you, and you can get a little wash from the cars in front of you. So, you know, that's something for these guys to adjust to with the very little downforce that they get on the GR86s. Having that little bit of downforce and maybe having to be aware of not being able to follow quite so close as you could with the GR86s, it should be a new experience for them.
I think another experience that I got to put out there is with Terry Jansen in the field and still you know, doing well, clicking off laps and getting some experience. Maybe we got to get Cheyenne out here, and maybe not necessarily in the GT4s. Maybe she's not ready for that yet, but we got some other series coming out there as we have the dirt track beginner series starting up in July as well, and just some kind of entry-level dirt track racing cars right there. Should be some fun out there. But I know in speaking with Terry Jansen that he said that Cheyenne, his girlfriend, has been getting some time on the rig, and maybe a little shades and a little throwback of Josh Billiter and Caitlin Billiter, where Josh's wife Caitlin was arguably faster on the sim. So we'll see if maybe Cheyenne can repeat the process there and see if we can have a little Cheyenne v Terry Jansen. We just got to get a second, second rig and second computer and everything like that over to the household there and see what we got going on. But this this battle here for the GR86 is getting closer here, Mark, as it's down to under 8 seconds. It's getting close, but it's also getting under 7 seconds left in this, or 7 minutes left in this race. And well, never mind, because now all of a sudden it's down to 6 seconds and dropping. This is going to be too much, and you see right there, that is the gap between the two cars, as Casca now has Parkhurst in sight. And maybe I spoke a little bit too soon here, as Terry Jansen, the aforementioned Terry Jansen, clipping a little bit of grass right there, and parks it sideways on the track. Luckily, no other cars except right there. And was that Craig Potter, I believe, coming around there? We'll have to take a look at that one more time. It looked like a Ferrari coming by there.
It did look like Ferrari.
And Terry trying to do the right thing, trying to stay out of the way, but we'll see right here. Yeah. And yeah, that was the 616, and certainly some damage to the 616 of Craig Potter. I don't think it's, any kind of terminal damage or anything like that, as he is running around here in second place, having gotten back past Kelly Pointer. But now that Ferrari looks a little bit more Craig Potter-ish. It's got some damage. It's got some wrinkles. It's got some, some age to it. It's got some life lessons on it. Now it feels right. Now I feel like Craig Potter can finally finish this race the way, this series has intended him to do. He is not, I don't think, finished a race with a clean car all season. Why do it now, and why win the championship that way? So now he's got a little bit of damage. I have full faith now in that 616 coming home as the champion.
Okay, I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to keep quiet. I don't think I should say anything. I don't want I don't want the possible comeback if it all goes wrong. I'm just going to stay silent.
Well, not saying silent is Pal Casca, and he is under 4 seconds. It just pops back over 4 seconds right now, but he is digging and digging hard. The last lap, he was over 1.5 seconds faster than Mark Parkhurst. He's going to need it over these last couple laps here. He's got to reel him in. He's got to get within drafting distance. He certainly has the faster lines through this track. It is down under 3 seconds now. The 221 is on fire.
He's absolutely wringing the neck of that car. Absolutely wringing the neck.
That is the distance right there. He's letting David Tilford go by on the outside to get the right entry into the corner. And it's under 2 seconds. Right there is the gap between him and Parkhurst. And I mean, unless bonus points fall a funky way, this right here could be the battle for the GR86 championship as he gets mighty close again to pulling the same stunt, but we have got, it should be 2 or 3 laps to go yet. Certainly not the white flag this time by. The 221 is right there. Casca, Parkhurst. What is this? I mean, this is just about as many battles here as the Fast and the Furious movies. I mean, this is Casca v Parkhurst 10, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, 10. Oh, that's gonna help him.
Now he's got to be patient. He's got to be smart in this situation right here, and maybe he doesn't want to show his cards too early. Just kind of let everything play out here, but he's got to get close enough to get that draft to stay within the range here to make that move. As trying to take a look at where Mason Smith is on the track, as that lead has certainly shrunk down, but not going to be enough unless Mason Smith makes an error here. But Alex Carver getting it down to 5 1/4 seconds as David Tilford off the track there getting back on. But here it is, Mark. 44 seconds is gone. It is down to less than a second. What a drive in the second hour of this race by Pau Casca. Do you think he wants this championship?
Oh, I think so. I think so. And here comes the slipstream. Oh, he moves out of the way.
Parker's doing everything to break the draft. What a comeback here. What a battle. And it is not over just yet. As we come up, you see Barney is not waving the white flag just yet. So we've got 2 more laps to go before this battle is over. And here is the battle. This is not just the battle for second place in this race. It is probably the battle for the championship. Casca is forced wide. Going to try and get back into the draft, and now he is right there. Going to go inside of Parkhurst, heading down to turn 4, but they've got the lap car of Terry Jansen in front. They got Craig Potter passing them right there. This is not over yet as they're 3 wide through the corner. They got another GT3 coming up as Parkhurst is going to fall back in line. Pointer going to go by, and now Parkhurst is going to have a draft. Did Parkhurst have anything in the tank to kind of hold him at bay here and maybe make a last-minute pass, as we will get the white flag this time by?
I don't know. It looks like Casca's already just made a slight push, but
this is where it gets interesting again. Where do these fast cars come up into play? And right there is your leader, and that was kind of an important pass there for Mason Smith to get around these guys, because he will end up getting the white flag this time by. So we'll hop on board with Mason Smith and we'll show you the start-finish line. And Barney still does not have out the flag, and there it is, white flag on the season right there. Mason Smith is going to take it. He's got a 4-second lead on Alex Carver, who is right there trying to run him down. Casca has got almost a second lead over Parkhurst as they head into turn 1.
There goes the final lap. It all matters here.
What got to be going through the head of Mark Parkhurst at this point in the race? What are you thinking? What are you telling yourself? I mean, just unbelievable pace from Casca.
Yeah, just dig. That's all you can do right now. If you're Mark Parkhurst, all you can do is just dig and hope, because Casca's just had a phenomenal place. Absolutely phenomenal.
This thing's certainly not over, as it is down to 0.6 of a second, but here is where Casca seems to have a little bit more pace through the flowy infield and gains a little bit of time once again as Parker's trying to do everything he can to stay with that 221 and at least have a chance at the end of this lap, but it's getting stretched out a little bit now. Take a look up over here real quick as the battle down to the line, and right there behind is Mason Smith going to come home the winner, so these guys will get an extra lap to battle as Pointer has a chance right now. They did not take the checkered flag as they get very close coming into turn 1. The battle for second certainly not over here in the class, as Mark Parkhurst may have thrown it away here a little bit, as just trying to get a little bit too much here, and Pal Casca is going to take home second place here in the race, but more importantly ahead of Mark Parkhurst. What a comeback in the second half of the race. Unbelievable finish here. So now we'll turn our sights over here to second place battle for GT3. Craig Potter still has that in play. He's got Kelly Pointer right behind him, and this thing is not over yet. Pointer has got tons of speed in that BMW, and he would love to finish the season with a second place here. Winner overall, again, Mason Smith. Alex Carver coming home in second, less than 5 seconds in between those guys, over 2 hours. Fantastic driving by both guys. Jimmy Covert in third, Matthew Goring in fourth, David Tilford, Dominique Ford rounding out your 6-car field. But here it is, the drive to the line now for these guys. Pointer right there, but I'm not sure he's got enough of a toe to get around Potter by the line. We're gonna see it right here if that Beamer's got anything, but Craig Potter is going to weave his way into second place, and the championship for the 616 all but wrapped up. Kelly Pointer with a great job finishing in third. Andrew Rasmussen obviously getting the win done easily here by 18 seconds. Dane Simpson, Mark Gonzalez rounding out your top 5. Kokeko, Vishwasam, Chantry, and Thompson, your 9-car field in the GT3. And then you have Ponzi, Casca, Parkhurst, and Jansen in the GR86. Mark, I know you love being in the car. I know you'd love to probably be out there and battling with these guys sometimes, but
yeah,
how fun was it joining me up at the booth for the second half of this season, man?
It was epic. It's been absolutely epic. It's been a brilliant season. It's just been some great racing, some great respect, some not so great respect. But yeah, it's been a phenomenal season. Great drivers, great cars, great tracks, absolutely superb track. It's just made the whole season that much more interesting. You couldn't ask for much more, really, could you? I mean, the championship going down to the last round for the GR86s and for the GT3s. I mean, you don't get that with modern motorsports anymore. I mean, F1 at the moment, it's a complete snooze fest. Whereas this, you know, every time we go out there on the track, there's always a possibility. There's always a chance that somebody else is going to take it. I mean, that is real racing to me.
Absolutely, and these guys did it for not just tonight. I mean, most of the season. This entire season has been absolutely phenomenal, and there's a reason why not just one class, but 2 classes came down to the final race here for the championship. But without further ado, let's start bringing in our drivers here tonight. And while I catch my breath, Mark, why don't you go ahead and take our overall winner here, the winner in the GTE class, the 6 of Mason Smith.
Mason, Mark Hopper in the booth. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right.
Great race from you tonight. At one point, extending the lead out to 12, maybe 15 seconds. Closed up. Alex Carver closed up a bit towards you towards the end, down to an interval of about 4-5 seconds. Did you have the car backed off, or were you trying to conserve, or was it just on pace alone?
I was more so like just backing off a little, making sure like the car is in one piece, and that I just don't spin out, because pushing a car, especially a GTE, is like they they greatly punish you for that. So I was just taking an easy drive with the second half. In the first half, I was kind of pushing it with those 130s. But yeah, that was the summary with the whole race.
Yeah, it did look pretty tough out there in places. The Vet seems to be just a little towel happy out of some corners, and I wouldn't say a handful, but it would punish you for just the smallest mistakes. Tire strategy. What was your tire strategy going in for this evening?
It was this race was a easy double stint, and with the car choice with the Vet's really good at saving those tires. So that's why I chose this car tonight, and yeah, it was an easy strategy overall.
Nice. Very, very nice. Just a little unfortunate with some of the earlier races. You didn't quite bring home the championship this year. But looking forward to next year. We're looking forward to seeing you race around, hopefully putting a bit of pressure on Mr. McCoy. And we're looking forward to the challenge for next year. Before I let you go, is there anybody who you want to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. To y'all, the broadcasts, and to everybody that came here tonight. I don't know how many cars was it, but I bet it was a good 20 cars. I mean, I never thought I would see the day that there would be 20 cars on a consistent basis in the series. So that is really good, and I appreciate every other racer that comes out here and do their thing.
And we appreciate you for coming out and making the effort that you do week in, week out, Mason. Thank you so much. I will let you head back up to the rest of the team and to the rest of the squad.
Thank you.
And your winner here tonight, the 6 of Mason Smith here in the GTE class. Now, Mark, I'll give you our second place finisher here, and that is going to be the 79 of Alex Carver.
Hello.
Alex, my friend, Mark up in the booth. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. A little unfortunate for you towards the end. I could see you closing down on Mason, and we thought for a little while that it was going to get real interesting between the last 15, 20 minutes or so. You might have had enough pace to put that time down on him. Was that the plan all along?
Honestly, yeah, sorta. I only did one lap of practice coming into this race, and at one point I was 17, 18 seconds behind him, so to be that close at the end was pretty rewarding to me, and I'm just proud of it, even if I didn't get the win.
No, it's a great drive, great consistency, very, very few errors. How were you finding the traffic out there? It looked a little busy in places. There's a few moments where there were some manoeuvres that were, I wouldn't say a little suspect from some drivers, but it's very difficult, especially around here with the tight infield, to get around some of the slower cars.
Yeah, I felt like it was pretty tough at some points for sure, especially going around the GRs. Not that they were bad or anything, but I had a few close calls. I almost got sandwiched on the exit coming to the main straight, but that I think they were fighting for championship. So yeah. Honestly, it might have been my fault at the end of the day, kind of not being aware of that situation. But yeah, I can't really blame anybody for hogging up the track. It's just tight track. GTEs aren't too much more powerful than the GT3s, so it's kind of hard to get around them, especially at this track.
Yeah, there were some good battles throughout the whole field, all through the race, to be brutally honest. And as you say, with 2 championships still to be decided on the line, there was going to be the inevitable people fighting for real estate, as there was. But even so, it was a great race from you tonight. I'll ask the same as I did for you, as I did Mason. What was the tyre strategy for you tonight?
I wanted to do a double stint, take tires around the one hour mark. I tried to fuel save as much as possible, but honestly, it wasn't that much in the end. I think Mason pitted at the same time around the halfway mark, and then I tried to undercut him, which did save me some time. It saved me like 2-3 seconds, just not enough to maybe get in contention for the win. And I just tried to not slide, not to lock the brakes up as much, and just try to come home with good tires, especially on the second stint. I think I learned my lesson on the first stint. I locked up a lot, but
no, you look super consistent, and as I say, I mean, I drove very briefly the car out before during the practice run, and that Corvette does tend to be a little taily on the power here and there. It can be a little difficult to try and keep those rear tyres in good condition. So the fact that you managed to do so, all credit to you. A great drive from you, a great championship, and we're looking forward to seeing you next season. Before I let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, Mason for being a good competitor, Michael for being a good competitor, and everybody that joins, all the people that put this together, host all the sessions, and finally the team I'm on, Anzi 3D Racing, they helped me develop as a driver. So thank you a lot. To everybody.
All right, then, my friend, I will let you get back up to the rest of the team and to the squad.
Thanks.
That your second place finisher here in the GTE field, Alex Carver. And now, finally, our man here that typically joins us in the booth, but he is in third place here tonight, the 14 of Jimmy Covert.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Jimmy. What can I say, my friend?
Were you watching? Did you watch them like last 15 laps between me and Matt? Oh,
yeah. Well, between you and Matt, and you almost taking the front off a poor old GE86.
Oh, you like that pit stop?
Yeah. Like was not quite the word I would use, but I mean, I think it was Mark Parkhurst. I think that was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I would want to be changing underwear. I'd want to check the front of my bumper for damage, because you gave him like virtually no room. But what a race, bud! What a race!
Yeah, I come out of last corner and I hit my little pitting in, and he said he's seen it. He's like. And then he sees a train of cars come, and I was like, come on, go right. I'm like in my head, and he didn't move right. I'm like, shit, I gotta go right. So I go to the right and then cut him off over to the left and just fly down pit lane tree. I thought I was gonna get a speeding in pit lane or something. No, but my first pit stop I messed up. I took tires. I didn't want to take tires until halfway through, so it kind of put me behind the ball. I like Interlagos, but I made a few mistakes tonight, so that put me, a lap behind the rest of the crew. I think I had pretty decent pace out there, but those last 15 laps with Matt Goring, I've ran many races with Matt, back and forth. There was a little tap. I did a 360 down there in 4 and come back out in the track with no damage, but it was a lot of fun. It was just clean, hard racing, and I don't know what happened to him at the end, so I don't know if he lost a tire, but I did hear him going to the pits, but I wish he would have finished it out side by side. It would have made for a great finish there with the GTEs, since everybody's kind of got their positions all wrapped up, the championship and whatnot. But I wanted to say just to you guys up there, and I know I'm talking a lot because I'm used to being in the booth, but thanks for doing what you guys did this season for the GT series, and everybody that came out, and I hope everybody that comes out and signs up for the season 4, as I think if I get my butt in the seat to come out, and I might participate, but I might have to join you guys up in the booth temporarily, as I got some life things going on, and I'm just gonna have to show my support up in the booth this next season. But I look forward to get back on the track when I can, and it was great out there, and like I said, you guys do a great job up there, and look forward to listening to whatever next one you guys broadcast.
Well, I've got nothing to say, Jimmy. You've just covered it all for me. Thanks, bud.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm used to the booth.
No, you're good, bud. Yeah, all the questions I was going to ask you, mate, sure, already covered. So I don't care. Go on, off you go. Go away. Shoot. Get out of here.
Later, mate. Bye.
All right, that your third place finisher here in the GTE class, Jimmy Covert in the 14. We will switch over here to the GT3 here in a second, but actually, yep, it looks like he's now in here. So I'll go ahead and bring in our winner here tonight in the GT3 class, and really the class of the field here in the GT3s. Never really had any kind of issues on the win here, and that is the 111 of Andrew Rasmussen. So Andrew, kind of walk us through your race. You got out there to a lead, and you start stretching out pretty early, and the championship contenders just started to kind of run with each other and run over each other a little bit, and allowed you to just really stretch out and kind of walk away with this victory here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for that. This was probably the most consistent race I've had in a really long time on iRacing, so I definitely felt good. A lot of management, a lot of like strategy, you know, trying to keep the tires cool, trying to not overdrive the car, managing traffic, you know, keeping low because this track is very flowy, and you know, one corner mistake will X3, you know what I mean? So just trying, especially with like the GR86, trying to not catch them in a braking zone and catch them on the exit so that I could keep them down and accelerate around them. So I think that played a big part in it.
Yeah,
hats off to Craig and those guys, because there was definitely some pace to be had. So
yeah, it certainly seemed like I mean, we talked pre-race that this track is just full of passing opportunities, but pretty much the only place you couldn't catch the slower cars was right there through the middle part of the infield, because it's so flowy and so back and forth, and you're kind of swinging to the outside and then swinging back to the inside. So picking your poison as to when you want to try and make your passes through those guys, but didn't have to worry about passing anybody for position out here tonight. So we know obviously you are a big fan of the Audi here, and you run very well. You have a good understanding of how this Audi performs. Do you think that was ultimately the reason you came out on top here tonight, or is this a track that you have quite a few laps in?
I mean, I have some laps here, but a lot of it is definitely the car, just because it rotates very, very well, and it responds well at low speed. So it's easy to get out of the corners and to turn the car in. A lot of front engine cars like the Merc and the BMW, they plow a lot, so it requires a lot of, you know, throttle modulation to get out of the corner. But the Audi, you just point it, pin it, and it goes. So
well, it certainly worked out here for you tonight, and for a few times for you this season, as this was certainly not your first one of the season. This ended up being your fourth, and that leads the class here. That is the most wins of anybody in the class, with 4 out of 9 wins, and just getting word that actually finishes you in second place in the points. So
very cool.
Yeah, so with those 3 races that you missed, obviously 2 of them being ones that you're just going to throw away with the drop races anyway, but you know, that one extra race right there could have brought you right into the into the mix of things. So will we be seeing the 111 out there next season? And if so, is there a class that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to run the same class. I like running with these guys. There's it's good competition, especially like, you know, Mark, super quick. Craig, obviously, is super quick. Hopefully, you know, my schedule works out, but I'm coming into the season, a race season, so travel is going to think, but hopefully I can count.
Well, either way, it was a pleasure having you here in the races that you were in, and it was probably up and down for the races that you were in here. You were either absolutely out there and dominant, or you know, just had a rough go of it here and there. But you finished second in the point standing. So either way, that's a great season, even though you've missed 3 other races. So you're certainly right there in the mix for the championship. So congrats on the second place this year. Before we let you go, anyone you want to send a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, shout out to you guys, of course. Thank you for putting on a good series. And then shout out to the number of drivers that are here in this last race. I've raced in plenty of leagues, and drop off towards the end is usually quite steep. So, you know, to have this, you know, 20 drivers on track for the last race is pretty impressive. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's. I mean, you guys put on great races all season long, so I think that kind of helps keep the numbers where they are. You know, it's not a wreck fest, it's not a caution fest, anything like that. You guys have put on some great races, so congrats again on your 4th win of the season, on 2nd place in the points, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right, that your winner here tonight in the GT3 class, the 111 of Andrew Rasmussen. Now, 2nd place in the race. Number 1 in your hearts and number 1 in the championship, and that is the 616 of Craig Potter. And Craig, a bit of a wild race out here. I know that's probably shocking for me to say, but I mean, it seemed like you were content hanging back there behind the other guys that you were battling for the championship. But then all of a sudden, you kind of got your elbows out and you started just making your way through the field. And once you got past them, it seemed like you stretched out a little bit, had a little bit of a battle with Pointer there in the end. But I feel like I wasn't certain that you were going to lock down this championship until you got roughed up a little bit there at the end. And you had some bumps and scrapes and bruises on that Ferrari because you just get that little bit faster when you have those bumps and scrapes on that thing.
I was gonna say, you guys know it runs faster when I crinkle the hood, and we've talked about this, right?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, you described it exactly right. Just kind of settled in probably for that first, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And when I was finally able to connect with Tyler and Dane and Mark and those guys, we had quite the train going there for a while. And then slowly but surely, I kind of started feeling some pace and, you know, improving my braking zones a little bit, and it didn't take long before I'm like, you know what, I think I do have the pace. So you're right, I started getting a little more aggressive, and you know, just kind of came into tonight realizing I hadn't been outside of the top 5 yet, and just figured, you know what, if I could just stay with those guys, I knew probably the longer race was probably my strength. And yeah, just slowly but surely started to put it together. So what a blast. Those guys were so much fun tonight. They raced so hard and so clean.
You ended up getting the championship by 29 points, but not over any of the guys that you probably thought you were battling. It ended up being Andrew Rasmussen that got all the way up into 2nd place, winning the race here tonight and jumping over Simpson and Kokeko here in the end. But what was it about the fuel strategy that let you get a little bit further into the runs than everybody else? Was it the way you were driving out there? Were you kind of fuel saving a little bit, or was it the just the Ferrari having a little bit deeper pocket when it comes to the fuel?
You know, that's a really good question. I feel like most races we've gone to, I probably can go an extra maybe lap or so. And man, I felt like by that 2nd or 3rd stop, I felt like I had 2, sometimes 3 laps on those guys. And it's just got to be the Ferrari. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, I try to be fairly smooth with it, but I was not in fuel safe mode whatsoever. I was driving hard, especially with Kelly charging as hard as he did towards the end. So I don't know. I just got to give it up to that Ferrari. That thing, the thing's great on gas.
Yeah, it's obviously great on aero as well, whether you crinkle that hood or not. And we've seen you grab 2 wins on the season, but more importantly, you grabbed that big win, the championship win. So, what does the championship mean here to you for winning the GT3?
You know, I got to be honest. I'm honestly just shocked. I joined the league. This is the first league I've ever done. Really, just kind of jumped in, trying to see if I, you know, had the pace to just hang around with these guys. Was really kind of very conservative the first couple races, and just kind of wanted to feel the league out, and then slowly but surely just started to gain confidence as the season went in, and you know, tested a lot this week, and just really thought coming into tonight with the lead, as long as I could probably beat Tyler, I'd probably have it. And yeah, I mean, means a ton. You know, I wanted to be a race car driver when I was young. You know, 5 years or so ago, finally got myself a rig and really enjoying it. And yeah, just the league is so much fun. So yeah, it means a ton.
And it certainly wasn't easy. I mean, you guys, if everybody showed up to every race, it probably would have been about 6 drivers deep. So I guess you have to thank Andrew Rasmussen for not showing up to every race. You have to thank Mark Gonzalez for not showing up to every race, or you probably would have been sweating twice as much. But either way, you get it done here tonight. So before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, I want to say hi to my girlfriend Kayla, my kids Daniel and Lenora, my brother and his wife Jen and their kids Caitlin, Carter, and Nathan. They always watch these races, so yeah, shout out to them and really just the rest of the guys in the GT3 field. What a fun group of guys! They were so much fun to battle with all season.
So will we see you back in the GT3 next season? Were you going to be moving up to the LMP3, or are you going to be taking a season off and enjoying the championship?
That's a really good question. I didn't even allow myself to look at it yet. I will probably look at that right away tomorrow. I just tried to do everything I could just to focus on Interlagos and just knock this one out. So I'll take a look at it. Probably gonna race next season. Tempted to get back in the GT3s, but I don't know. There's something that's got me a little curious about maybe moving up. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, either way, you got it done, and the practice certainly paid off here tonight. So congrats again on the second place and the win of the championship. And yeah, we'll go let you celebrate.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
At your second place finisher here tonight and the championship winner, the 616 of Craig Potter. And now finally, we shift over to third place here tonight, and it is our series sponsor. And I mean, I tell you what, Kelly, we've seen you with pace out here before, and maybe even seen you kind of slip from some positions that we felt you could have been in. Tonight you had some pace in that 75, and you were not taking it for granted, and you did one hell of a drive out there. Almost had second place, but how do you feel about the third place here tonight?
I feel pretty good about it. It was a fun race. It was definitely a blast. I just screwed up at the very start, spun myself out, and then I was playing catch up. And I mean, I was actually clicking off some pretty good laps, 134s, 135s, not too bad.
No, not at all. I mean, you started second place here, so you clearly had the one lap speed, but you showed at the end that you had the long run speed as well, and you run down the championship winner here, Craig Potter, multiple times, and even got past him before you guys kind of went back and forth for a while, and he finally got you at the end. But how did you feel out there at Interlagos tonight? Was it a newer track for you that you kind of still had to get used to throughout the race?
So this is the first time I ever raced on this track, and it is a blast. I've never been here, but shoot, I'm just kind of brain fogged from 2 hours of racing. I tell you what.
Understandable. Been there. Yeah, it's definitely a different track than anything else out there. It's got some nice long straightaways, and we talked pre-race and even during the race. There's plenty of places to have passing opportunities, but you didn't want to catch those GR86s in the middle of the infield, shifting back and forth. So yeah, how frustrating was that going through there?
It was pretty frustrating, but it's part of it, so you got to deal with it. I felt like I got through the traffic all right. Everyone gave enough room and stuff, but it just it seemed like I was able to get through it a little quicker. Based on Craig and I, it seemed like he was faster at the middle of the track. I was a little bit faster at the end of the track. And that's where we kind of leveled out. And the first time I was just trying to catch him, I was driving hard just to catch the crew, everyone pretty much, because I was so far back. And, at this end, I don't know how it slipped away. I felt like my pit entry was kind of, it wasn't very good. But, anyways, it was fun dealing with the 86s and everyone else. It was a good time.
So I know we already talked about next season, and you're going to be jumping on board again as a sponsor for that one. But want to thank you for sponsoring the series this season, as well as it's any little bit certainly helps, and certainly want to send my appreciation out there for that. But Are we going to see the 75 back out there on the track? Is there a class that you're looking forward to next season? Maybe you want to try something different, or are you going to be right back here in the GT3 trying to run these guys down one more time?
I'm going to hit the GT3s again, but I just signed up for all the classes. I love participating in everything. You know, I just enjoy racing with everybody. I just wish my schedule was better, but I'm on days, so I might be able to get home on time to at least start at the back of the pack, you know. But I'll do that. I have no problem doing that. I enjoy, you know, a little bit of a challenge. So, yeah, I'll be in every series. You know, I'm looking forward to sponsoring the series. You know, what is it, the Menard, the
GT and the Premier Series. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys decide to televise, you know, all the dirt, hey, might be thinking about that too. What do you say?
All right. Well, we'll see if we can nail somebody down there for the broadcast booth. But yeah, it's certainly one thing when you kind of get in there a little bit late and don't get a chance to qualify and have that little challenge in there. But it's another thing when you put yourself in the back after qualifying up front. So certainly don't do that again, because you had the pace here to certainly challenge for second and maybe even challenge for the win had you not made the mistake. But either way, a third place finish here tonight, a great run to end the season, and maybe keep a little hunger for the next season coming up as well. So before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, definitely. First, want to thank you guys for broadcasting and promoting my sponsorship. I appreciate that. It's Pointers Motor Supply, your AMSOIL dealer. So if you need anything AMSOIL, give me a call. My phone number's on the website, pointersmotorsupply.com. And if you're looking for racing, join the Core Racing League. It is a blast. You'll have fun. You'll have a great time because it's a great group of people. So, and thank my wife. And again, thank you guys for putting on this.
All right, well, congrats once again on the third place. We're certainly looking forward to the partnership next season once again, and looking forward to see that 75 back out in the track.
All right, brother. Take care. God bless.
At your third place finisher here tonight, the 75 of Kelly Pointer. And finally, we will wrap it up here with the last but not least class, and that is going to be our GR86s. And I mean, these guys have been putting on quite a show for us the entire season. So, you know, why not one more fantastic show out here tonight? And we'll bring in here our winner. And Mark, why don't you go ahead and kick these guys off and start with the winner here tonight in the GR86, and that is the 46 of Timothy Ponzi.
Howdy.
How are you, Timothy? Mark up here in the booth. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well.
Interesting race out there tonight, don't you think?
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah. That's one word I would use. Great race from you. Super consistent.
Thank you. Yeah, I had that one mistake in the beginning, and then I seen they had a couple mistakes, so I just decided to hit the laps and put it in.
Yeah, and I think that worked out for you in the end. Between Kasker and Parkhurst, there were so many battles between the two of them. I think that might have given you the opportunity, with being able to click those laps off so consistently that you just put the gap on them. And eventually they just couldn't close up on you. But I will say, even so, still very, very quick laps, very, very consistent. Traffic looked a bit hectic out there. How were you with that?
I was good until the last lap. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a little tricky in some spots, but for the most part, it was just kind of knowing when they're coming up on you, knowing where to position your car, and not lose as much time as you could. And yeah, it was a fun season. I know that.
Yeah, and 2 hours for the last race. Not an easy feat, especially in these cars, because they're not they don't exactly what's the word I want to use? Keep you on your toes to the extent of some of the faster stuff. So yeah, you have to drive it slightly differently than you would say like a GT3 or a GTE. Yeah, you're more focused on keeping your line and trying to be smooth and trying not to lose that mid corner pace. Was that the technique that you were using for this evening?
Yeah, these cars all year or all season have just been momentum. They're all about momentum. You got to be as precise as possible and maintain your speed. I mean, especially here in that last corner, if you got passed in the wrong place or you didn't hit that last corner right, you lost so much time up the hill to the finish line, and so that's about all they are, is just momentum.
Yeah, but even so, still a great finish from you tonight. I'm trying. Where were we in the standings with Timothy Cole?
I finished third, I think.
Yeah, Timothy finished third with his third win here tonight. Yep.
So third for the championship. That's still. I know you didn't manage to get as much racing done as you wished that you had. Entering late into the season as you did, are we going to see you for the next season? And if so, what class can we expect you to run?
Absolutely, I'll be back this way. It's a level playing field. Yeah, I'll be in the GT3s this year or this season, so it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to it. I thought about the LMPs, but I'm probably just. It looks like there's going to be a good group of guys in the GT3, so it'll be fun racing with them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's a very mixed field of GT3 drivers, and there's a lot of good drivers in there. There's a lot of guys who I think have been running this year's GT3 who want another shot here because they didn't quite get the result that they were hoping for. So with you making the progression up to the GT3 next season, I think that's just going to be just another little piece of spice that's just going to make it that a little more interesting. Congratulations on your run tonight. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
I really appreciate what you guys do. It's a lot of fun. Looking forward to do it again. I thank my wife, and I look forward to my brother will be joining the league. Hopefully he'll be racing next season too. So shout out to him.
Superb. Okay then, my friend, I will let you get back up to the family and to the rest of the squad.
All right, excellent. Thanks, guys.
Had your winner here tonight in the GR86 class, the 46 of Timothy Ponzi. Now we will switch to the man that had just a very uneventful race here as he went on to the championship win by 10 points, the 221 of Pal Casca.
Pal, Mark up here in the booth. How are you, my friend?
Been better.
Yeah, that was yeah, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I've been sick all week, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. It didn't seem to put too much of a damper on your driving here this evening. Great run from you tonight. Great championship. Oof, a little close in a few places. There's a couple of questions that I would like to ask. First off, being, did you know that you had the pace to catch Mark on the closing laps?
I mean, I was looking at the relative all the time on Mark. I mean, I was gaining here and there, and I saw that I was running hella laps as well. Only I did screw up mid-race or my first pit stop.
That was going to be my second question. We watched it as it was happening. Both me and Carl looked at each other in the booth as if to say, what in hell's name happened there? So if you wouldn't mind letting us know, because we've been dying in here for the past hour and 45 minutes wondering what the hell happened. So if you wouldn't mind, what happened?
I totally forgot to pit, and I was like, I'll try it. Either way, I'm going to have to tow, so I was just like, I totally forgot to pit on that lap. That's exactly what happened.
Oh, so essentially, you were trying to get yourself from the racing line into the pit box, and you just happened to remember at the exact moment that the large steel barrier that separates the racetrack from the pit lane was in the way.
A beautiful barrier. It needed some love.
Yeah, and you. If I say what I'm going to say, I'm going to get so banned. You loved it good. There you go. But first championship win for you, pal. Congratulations, my friend. That was a superb drive, a superb season for you in total. What's next? Are you going to carry on going? Are you going to take a season off? Are we going to see you next season? If so, which car are you going to drive?
Well, I'm looking to do GT3s next season again. The car, I don't know yet. Depends what's available. Because right now the GT4 class is looking grim.
So GT3s next year. There's a fair few drivers who look like they're going to be focused on GT3. Should be a really interesting season. There's a few quick guys that are moving up and progressing over. We're looking forward to seeing you in there. Congratulations on the championship. Well done, pal. A superb drive from you this evening. The old adage that never quit, never surrender certainly paid off for you tonight. Absolutely superb. Anybody who you want to give a shout out to before I send you back out?
Shout out to Mark. I know he's been doing great so far, even though it was his first season for road racing. And shout out to you guys. You guys do a fantastic job here. Look forward to racing on here next season as well. So,
then my friend, congratulations again. Great championship. I'll send you back out.
Thank you.
That your second place finish here tonight and championship winner, the 221 of Pal Casca. And now finally, we will finish out the night with the 23, the third place finisher here of Mark Parkhurst.
I got you.
Mark, how are you, my friend? Mark up in the booth. How are you?
Been better, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can imagine that's not an easy pill to swallow, my friend.
Nah, I had it on rails there at the start of that last stint, and then the handling just slowly went away from it. And I mean, Powell absolutely drove his tail off tonight. He earned that. So, all respect to him. I'm looking forward to next season now.
Before I get on to next season, just a quick talk about how the race went tonight. As you said, it looked like you and Powell were going hammer and tong for the first stint. What do you think caused the drop off in the second stint? Do you think it was a tyre thing, or do you think that it was just the fact that the track went away from you and came to him?
Definitely the fact the track came to him. He put in a lot of laps this week, so I know once we got into that long run there, middle of the race, definitely fit in more of his flow, and he started pulling away, and I was getting caught in all the wrong spots by the faster cars, which didn't help at all. So it felt like almost every corner there was somebody looking on my inside. So it is what it is.
Yeah. This is one of the unfortunate countersides of multi-class racing is the fact that if you are in one of the slower classes, it's very difficult when you get passed by some of the faster stuff. We were talking to Timothy earlier, and he was saying that how difficult it is. How all of these GR86s are very much a momentum car. You need to have the momentum going. If you lose the smallest amount of corner speed or something like that, it's so difficult to get the car back up to speed.
Yeah, especially on those like long straight stuff, and that's usually where I ended up making most of my mistakes. Was right before a long straightaway, and that didn't help either. But I just made too many mistakes tonight.
Yeah, again, 2 hours. It's not easy to keep that kind of focus going for that period of time. And something that me and Carl spoke about earlier was the fact that it tends to be, it's a very difficult concept to get your head around. Driving for 45 minutes is one thing, but when you're doubling that and some, it becomes a very different kind of race. You're constantly thinking about how much fuel you have, how much tyre you're using, how you're taking each corner. So it becomes the difference between a sprint and endurance is quite big.
Yeah, pretty much had to plan out the entire strategy of the race differently, because usually we have to make one stop for a splash and go, and this time we had to make 2 stops. When do you take tires? Do you take tires? How much fuel do you take for the run to the finish? So it was a lot more of a complex strategy this race, and I know Powell drove it into the pit wall the first time, but in the end there, he had the bit of a better strategy and better handle on the car that got him there.
Yes, yeah. I just spoke to Powell about his unfortunate meeting with the pit wall. Yeah, it was quite unique. But again, it's one of those things. It's very difficult to be able to. You're constantly guessing: can I make that extra lap? Can I not make that extra lap? And at that point, I think he was in 2 minds of whether he could make it or not, and decided that he was going to have to tow back, even if he could, because he couldn't make it. Went to make the move into the pit, and unfortunately, the pit wall got in the way. Before I let you go, next season, we've had a few people saying that they're moving up to the GT3 class. Is that going to be your plan for the next season?
Well, I was going to make my decision based off how tonight went, and I will be joining the GT3 class as well. If I won the championship, I was going to toss my hat into LMP3, but I'm going to go run it GT3 next season, see how I fare against those guys.
Well, you'll be a very welcome addition to the GT3 class. Superb drive from you tonight. A little unfortunate, and again, it's just one of those things. But a great season from you. Congratulations. Looking forward to having you with us in the GT3 class, and looking forward to seeing you out there once again.
All right, thank you. This was my first season of road racing ever, so I just want to say this is a great league, and I had a lot of fun this season racing with everyone.
Well, it's very difficult to tell that it was your first ever road season, to be brutally honest. You've been super consistent. You've been there or thereabouts all season long. Some people say that the GR86 is not the fastest class, and that may well be true, but you still need to be a road course driver, and you still need to be a driver to get these things around, and to make the progress that you've made it's an impressive feat. Before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to before I send you back up to the team?
Yeah, first off, gotta give a big shout out to my mom, so you guys don't harass me again. Yeah, she's been here through every race, the highs of last week, the lows of this week, every single race I do. Shout out you guys for broadcasting every week. You guys do a great job putting on good shows for everybody. Everybody that comes out races in this league, I'm looking forward to them next season. And Powell Casca, big shout out to Powell Casca. We had a great battle all season long. Major respect to him. And I don't think we touched once this season, yet we still had such a good rivalry, so I'm hoping we can run it back again next season.
Well, I hope so too, because I think that will be an epic battle between you and everybody in the GT3 class, because I think that you have got some serious skills as a road course driver.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. You take care, my friend.
Thank you. See you next season.
Your third place finisher here tonight and championship runner-up, the 23 of Mark Parkhurst. That is going to do it for our interviews here tonight and for the racing here in Season 3. But as we mentioned multiple times, Season 4 is just right around the corner. And I'll tell you what, if it's anything like this season, it's going to be epic. But, you know, from the sounds of kind of where everybody's going, still waiting to see who we're going to have, you know, entered into the GT4 class. And maybe we, you know, we don't end up even having the GT4 class. But the LMP3 class certainly going to have some heavy hitters, as we already have the likes of Mike McCoy in the GT or the LMP3. You have Alex Carver, Chris Hamilton going to be making a showing out there. Pretty sure Mason Smith is going to be out there in the LMP3, so that's certainly going to be stacked with some heavy competition. But oh my God, is the GT3 going to be epic next season?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of drivers moving up from, you know, from the GR86s. Powell, Timothy, Mark, all sound like they're all moving up into the GT3s. That should be interesting. A lot of the guys, Andrew saying that he wants to stay with GT3. I think there's a few guys who want to stay with the GT3 because they just enjoy the car. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. I really do think if this season is anything to go by, next season is going to be an absolute stonker. Because you know what? I've driven some of those LMP3s, and I am not so sure that they are that much quicker than a GT3. Apart from corner speed, that aero does make a big difference. But flat out, I don't think it's huge.
Well, all I'm thinking about is, you know, when it comes to next season in the GT3 class, how many people, if any, are going to have multiple wins? There's going to be so much talent across the entire field that, I mean, we could have 12 different winners over 12 different races. It's going to be just ridiculous. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit your like on the video tonight, but make sure you subscribe to CRN, as we're going to be a little light here for the next month or so, but we still got a couple races here left tomorrow night in Core, and that's going to be the finale for the ARCA and for the Truck Series. On Wednesday nights, we have the Chop Shop GT3 Series. Thursday nights, nothing this week, but we do have another special event that's going to be coming up somewhat soon in the beginning of July, so stay tuned for more details on that. Friday night, going to be Redline Racing. Sunday night is going to be the Core Drivers Cup, the fourth running of the Core Drivers Cup, and that is an absolutely fun, fantastic event. So make sure you tune in to that, as it's going to be a little bit of a mixed mash of broadcasters, as we're going to be broadcasting and racing, and whoever is not on the track is going to be kind of doing the broadcasting, and then we'll be in the car broadcasting as well. So be very interesting for that. But we are right about a month away to the start of Season 4, and I'm already absolutely looking forward to it. If you are looking to get into the series, just get in contact with me. Check out the Discord. Get in contact with one of your favorite drivers out here. Get in here, because clearly the racing is fun, and absolutely shout out to these drivers for the entire season. I mean, it's been arguably one of the most successful seasons that we've had here in Core, no matter what series we've done here. As you know, these drivers mentioned it, the drop-off usually happens in every league, and this drop-off here this season has been very, very minuscule. I mean, the fact that we finished with 19 drivers here in this last race is absolutely all credit to the drivers out here on the track putting in some good running. And it's been a blast to broadcast them the entire season. Thanks one more time to Kelly Pointer and Pointer's Motor Supplies for sponsoring this season. And one last thank you to you, Mark. Thank you for joining me up here in the booth for the second half of this season. It's been a blast, and I know you're probably looking forward to it as much as I am for next season. But that's going to do it for Season 3 of the Core GT Series. We'll see you at the track.
Take care, people.